Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I was doing some stuff in the background.
To think about when you're born into a fire, let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack,
Let's pause that. So what's up, guys? Let me get Facebook started. I went to Liam's soccer game tonight. I know I'm late. I went to Liam's soccer game tonight, and he's a freshman, so he doesn't play a whole lot. But he got to go in right at the we were up by like 7 or 8 points. He got to go in, and then like almost immediately when he gets in, he scored his first goal, and the whole team celebrated with him, like ran and jumped on him and tackled him, and it was awesome. Basically, another kid got it really close to the goal, lost control of it, and it came right to Liam. All he had to do was kick it in the goal. It was like the perfect setup, and he got it. He scored his first goal today. I need to get him, if you guys have any experience with it, I need to get him some like sports goggles. He's still wearing his regular glasses right now, which they're not like metal or anything. They're like a plastic frame, but still. I don't want him to fall off during the game. I don't want them to get hit or the ball kicked into his face and break him, and then he's just done, right? Because he's blind as a bat, poor Liam. But he does need I need to get him. I know I can order him online. I just don't know about brands or what's the best or whatever. I'm sure they got to be like anti-fog. The last time I worried about that was when I was playing paintball in fucking middle school. But I need to get him some goggles, I think. Some shatterproof and anti-fog. I don't know. Some type of goggles. Anyways, we're ready to go if you guys are.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Super proud of Liam tonight. Like I said, he scored his first goal. He got to come in only because we were way up, but still, he got to come in, and another kid got it almost in. It bounced off a defender, a defender kind of took it away from him, kind of. They were still like scrambling over it. And then the goalie tried to grab it, but missed, and then it just landed right in front of Liam, right in front of an open goal. I'm sure he was so proud. The whole team celebrated with him because, I mean, he loves soccer and all. He didn't grow up playing soccer like a lot of the other kids did, right? This is his first year ever playing. And like when he was young, he didn't play and shit. We tried to get him in baseball, football, golf. We tried all the sports. But he somehow got to soccer as a freshman, but whatever. Not saying anything bad, but like you see little Mexican kids, like when they can walk, they've got a soccer ball, right? And they're amazing, right? They got all that time in, all that practice. Liam's not like that, but he tries hard, and he likes soccer a lot. He definitely likes it more than I do. You know what I mean? So he had a chance to score. The whole team ran down, was screaming his name, jumped on him, and they obviously, like the seniors score all the time. They didn't celebrate any other goals like that except for Liam's. It was a proud moment. Glad to get to see it. I was reading this post from Trump. What is this? Is this another company that someone in his family owns? America is returning to real energy dominance. Hold on just a second. Sorry, I had to finish up. Today, I'm proud to announce that America First Refining is opening the first new, so the name of the place is America First Refining. That's a red flag to begin with, right? We can all agree that's a red flag. America, is that something that his family or somebody owns, or do they just name it that so he would approve it? Maybe. Anyways, America First Refining is opening the first new U.S. oil refinery in 50 years. We talked about this before, that I think it had to do with construction costs and environmental regulations, permits, and shifting, the current shift away from fossil fuels, that it wasn't profitable for companies to build refineries. That's why all of our refineries are really old. You won't even find a whole lot of new refineries anywhere in the world, right? It's just not something that they just pop up like crazy. It's a huge financial bet on a refinery. You're betting that oil is going to stay up high, that oil usage is going to, you're going to be able to, it's a huge investment, and you're betting years down the road before you even break even, unless, you got a guy that's part of it that's the fucking president. Anyways, in Brownsville, Texas, this is a historic $300 billion deal, the biggest in U.S. history, a massive win for American workers, energy, and the great people of South Texas. Thank you to our partners in India and their largest privately held energy company, Reliance, for the tremendous investment. So did they just name it this America First Refining just to get in good with Trump? Huh. For this tremendous investment. It is because of our America First agenda, streamlining permits. Okay. Can there be too much government red tape? Absolutely. Should we just slash all the red tape and say fuck it? Obviously not, right? You're betting on your kids' health, on their future, on your grandkids. Like, there needs to be some fucking red tape. Can it get overwhelming to the point to where it's not even feasible to build a power plant or to build an oil refinery or to build a, what the fuck ever, make a construction company? Sure. But this slashing everything and we don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore, it's kind of scary. Especially when you start looking like, they just did one of the largest studies ever done was PFAS and microplastics in fucking fetuses, dude. And the levels that are now in like infants, newborn babies, and fetuses is like through the fucking roof already. Like they're kind of fucked right before when they're born, right? When they're conceived, when they're grown in the womb, they're already fucked. And this cutting of permits across the board has got to be bad. Streamlining permits and lowering taxes that have attracted billions of dollars in deals coming back to our nation. A new refinery at the port of Brownsville will fuel U.S. markets, strengthen our national security, boost American energy production. By the way, this fueling U.S. markets is a complete lie. I personally believe that the government should have a little more say in where these private businesses send such a crucial thing as, fuel, diesel, jet fuel, especially LNG, stuff that we use to heat our homes, to power our homes, to move our semi trucks full of goods. I think the government ought to be able to weigh in and say, hey, you have to sell a certain percentage, but that's not what the government does. So this fueling America, right, is a lie. They're fueling whoever pays the most, and they don't give a fuck if it's America or not. Literally, Joe Biden tried to limit the LNG going overseas to keep power bills. Like, there's people in New Jersey right now, it's like got fucking $600 fucking power bills. Anyways, and they called him a communist, and Donald Trump took that away immediately. They just sell to the highest bidder. So fueling our nation, a lie. Just because it's here doesn't mean shit for us. A new refinery at the port of Brownsville will fuel U.S. markets, strengthen our national security, boost American energy production, deliver billions of dollars in economic impact, and will be the cleanest refinery in the world. If it's going to be the cleanest refinery in the world, why do we have to slash any of the permitting and environmental restrictions and shit? That doesn't make sense, does it? Okay. It will power global exports and bring thousands of long overdue jobs and growth to a region that deserves it. This is what American energy dominance looks like. America first, always. A refinery is an incredibly long return on investment. Like, why would a multi-billionaire who could get their money out of, tech startup or this, that, the other, or something heavily subsidized by the government or military contracts, when they can, double their money in 5 years, why would they wait 10 or 15 years to break even? You know what I'm saying? Like it's usually like a 10 plus year, a decade to get a return on investment. And it's kind of locked up as well, right? We have like ExxonMobil, BP. We have the big players, and it's hard for a small, like a mom and pop fucking refinery to pop up. You know what I mean? Also, it seems like the first hurdle they ever hit was EVs, right? There was no curve on demand at all. There was no flattening of the demand. It just kept going up, 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 up. And now EVs are in this place where they give them a run for their money on a percentage of the market, not the whole market, not half the market, not fucking, probably not even 20% of the market, but a portion of the market. Yeah. It's a hard return on investment. I want to know if they named it this, if this is the real name or Trump just lied and called it this. America First Refining. And did they name it that just to placate Trump? $300 billion refinery project backed by Reliance Industries. The plant was planned for Brownsville, Texas, processing shale oil. Trump said it would be the first new U.S. refinery in 50 years. With Reliant, Mukesh Ambani's, the Indian guy, the Indian billionaire, Mukesh Ambani, owns Reliance Industries. He thanked India's largest privately held energy company, Reliance Industries, for the tremendous investment. Reliance owns the world's largest oil refinery in Yamnagar, India. I don't know Indian cities, I'm sorry. And has market capitalization of $206 billion according to LSEG data. The new refinery located at the port of Brownsville, Texas will strengthen our blah, blah, blah. That's all the stuff we just read. The refinery is designed to process 100% American shale oil and is being developed by America First Refining. Developed by. So the Indians are funding it and will own it. It's being developed by. Who owns? God, it's probably some pop-up company that started 9 days ago in Connecticut. America First Refining is led by chairman and founder John Calce, C-A-C-C-A-L-C-E. Calce. Let's see who this guy is. The founder and chairman of Element Fuels. He is part of the leadership. John Calce. Oh, everything is Trump, 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 Trump this on his LinkedIn. Incoming Vice Chair Nick Ayers, A-Y-E-R-S. The project is heavily backed by India's Reliance Industries, which provided a 20-year offtake agreement and the capital investment. It is in development stage entity originating from Element Fuels. So Element Fuels is the company that he basically rolled into this new company that becomes America First Refining. This came out March 10th, a 20-year offtake. Texas, March 10th, 2026, Newswire. America First Refining announced a historic milestone in U.S. energy production. The construction of the first new oil refinery built in the United States in 50 years, made possible through the leadership of President Donald J. Trump and the success of his America First energy agenda. The refinery will be located at the port of Brownsville, Texas, and will significantly strengthen America's long-term energy dominance. In February, America First Refining received a 9-figure investment from a global super major at a 10-figure valuation. AFR also signed a binding 20-year offtake term sheet with the same global supermajor that secures commitments to purchase, process, and distribute American-produced energy exclusively sourced from American shale oil. Hold on just a second. So it says right here. So this 20, if I'm reading this right, I've been wrong before. I'm no rocket surgeon. The same people that invested have signed a binding 20-year offtake agreement. That means they will purchase 100% of this, the production from this refinery, for 20 fucking years. So this isn't going to fuel America. If they're buying 100% of it, India is buying 100% of it for 20 fucking years. That's what an offtake agreement is. So the offtaker is a buyer, right? And then there's a producer, which would be the refinery. The reason they do these types of agreements is so you can go to the bank or go to somebody and get funded and say, hey, I need this money. I need this permit. I need to get this done because we've got our shit. We've got our shit already sold, right? This is basically like if I started a company and I said, hey, I need $500,000 to start this company. And then they said, well, you've never sold anything. And I said, I've got a offtake agreement for everything I produce for the next 5 years. They're going to buy it. And my product is this much. I plan to produce this much. So that's, $50 million in revenue or whatever, right? It allows developers to prove future income to lenders. It locks in revenue stability. The developer avoids current market price volatility, ensuring consistent cash flow will be coming. It's a binding commitment. The buyer is obligated to take a specific volume of the product, often referred to as take-or-pay contracts, which provide security. They're very common in energy. These are frequently used as 20-year power purchase agreements between renewable project developers and utilities. While providing long-term security, these agreements often include clauses for penalties if parties are breaking the contract or force majeure events like natural disasters. A solar farm developer might use a 20-year offtake agreement to guarantee that a utility company will purchase all the generated electricity at a fixed rate, making it easier to finance construction of this new solar farm. So I've used AI, but basically if they sign an agreement, that means that this Indian company is going to be buying 100% of what they produce for the next 20 years. Not that they can't resell it, but still. This project represents a historic step forward for American energy production, said John V. Kaus, chairman and founder of America First Refining. For the first time in half a century, the United States will build a new refinery designed specifically for American shale oil. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and the resurgence of an America First. Isn't shale oil harder to get? So that's why it does well when oil prices, like we knew about shale oil a long time ago, but the costs just weren't there to bring it out of the ground, and now it is. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and resurgence of the America First energy policy, we are creating thousands of high-quality jobs while ensuring more of our nation's energy resources are refined here at home in the cleanest, most efficient refinery on the planet. This is one of the most important energy infrastructure projects in America today, said Trey Griggs. Oh, shit. I found a video of Trump saying, oh, these idiots are over here in the Middle East spending billions of dollars, and our hospitals are falling apart. Our roads aren't good. Our bridges are crumbling. And now he's fallen into that same fucking trap, by the way. No infrastructure through Donald Trump. We're not fixing any roads. We're not building any schools or hospitals, but whatever. He's the president of America First Refining, is Trey Griggs. The United States has a surplus of light shale oil, but a shortage of refining capacity designed to process it. By building this refinery at the port of Brownsville, we're unlocking a major expansion of American energy production while creating thousands of high-paying jobs and strengthening our domestic supply chain. For years, investors believed building a new refinery in the United States was impossible, said Nick Ayers, a former White House official so he's the new vice chair, Nick Ayers, and he's a former White House official who served as assistant to the president and incoming vice chairman of America First Refining. What changed was leadership and policy. President Trump's America First agenda restored the confidence needed to invest large-scale in American energy infrastructure. This project is a bet on American production, American workers, and the long-term strength of our domestic energy economy. Under the newly signed agreement, 1.2 billion barrels of U.S. light shale oil will be purchased and processed, a value of $125 billion. AFR will produce 50 billion gallons of refined products, a value of $175 billion. The U.S. trade imbalance will improve by $300 billion. The refinery is specifically engineered to process American light shale oil, 47-inch API, which is cleaner, more efficient, and less costly to process than heavier imported crudes. Yeah, but the heavy crude is what we get some of the other products out that you can't get out of the light oil, correct? Unlike many existing shale oil is generally more expensive to produce than conventional crude oil. So yes, I was right. It takes a break-even price for new U.S. wells, often ranging from to $70 per barrel, while offering flexibility to quickly scale production. Its extraction requires more labor, more capital, and advanced technology like horizontal drilling, making it less economical when global oil prices are too low. High extraction costs, the number one reason. Back to it. Where was that? Unlike many existing U.S. refineries that depend on foreign oil, this facility is not dependent on and does not need imported crude, which strengthens U.S. national and economic security. Key advantages of the facility include capacity to process 60 million barrels per year of 100% U.S. light shale oil, strategic location at deep water U.S. port, enabling distribution to domestic and international markets, production of some of the cleanest gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel refined at scale in the United States. From 2014 to 2024, the United States exported nearly 10 billion barrels of crude while still importing roughly 28 billion barrels, costing American consumers and workers more than $1.8 trillion. Once operational, the AFR refinery will redirect up to 60 million barrels of U.S. crude annually back into the domestic refining, strengthening American industry, energy security, and economic growth. And it's got the biographies. The only one I'm worried about is this one. New York, trading off US, blah, 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 Texas, Greenville, South Carolina. Okay. Nick Ayers. Ayers is the incoming vice chairman and an early investor in America First Refining. I wonder how he got the tip-off. He previously served as assistant to the president and chief of staff to the vice president of the United States until 2019. Ayers currently serves on the board of VM Software and PSQ Holdings, and was a founding director of Jackson Acquisition Company. 2. Jackson Acquisition Company II, a publicly traded special purpose acquisition company. He is an investor and advisor in a number of technology, energy, and growth companies. Cantor Fitzgerald. Where we heard that? Who's part of Cantor Fitzgerald? Who's that? Who is that? I can't remember. Don't they have ties to the administration somehow? Cantor Fitzgerald serves as the overall financial advisor for the company. That's weird. So we have a guy that was the vice president's chief of staff and assistant to the president, who is now the vice chair one day before this deal was announced. And Cantor Fitzgerald is a financial advisor for the company. It is going to be in the port of Brownsville, which is a federally designated economic opportunity zone. The refinery will create thousands of high-quality American jobs, offering above-market wages and long-term economic investment in a historically underserved region. Interesting. No? A little bit. You know they had to name it that to suck Trump's dick. As soon as he heard it's going to be America First Refining, approved. Approved. Enough said. Approved. Mm. Oh, yeah. Fucking Iran is fucking mining the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran has put out any mines in the Hormuz Strait, and we have no reports of them doing so, we want them removed immediately. If for any reasons mines were placed and they are not removed forthwith, the military consequences to Iran will be at a level never seen before. If, on the other hand, they remove what might have been placed, it will be a giant step in the right direction. Additionally, we're using the same technology and missile capabilities deployed against drug traffickers to permanently eliminate any boat or ship attempting to mine the Hormuz Strait. They will be dealt with quickly and violently. Beware, President Donald J. Trump. And we'll vote for him again in 2028. He'll be long dead. Oh, Michael MAGA. Triple Trumpers, man. I'm working with Gretchen Whitmer, trying to save the Great Lakes from the rather violent and destructive Asian carp, which is, I would love to see Trump out on the Great Lakes trying to catch Asian carp. That'd be awesome. It's weird. India's Reliance Industries and another gigantic billionaire, Cantor Fitzgerald, serves as the financial advisor. $300 billion refinery. Interesting. Sorry, I'm still trying to process it. I literally just started. Or I literally just read that when I was starting the stream. Just the Asian carp? Oh my God. Where's Gretchen? Where's Trump? That's the fish that jump in your boat when you drive by, and it knocks people the fuck out, dude. It's funny to watch. I'm convinced it was an accident. I'm in a drug-induced coma, vented, and having a reaction to the. I hope so, dude. I hope, like when I was heavily experimenting with mushrooms, that I just tripped and never came back. Right? It seems like it's been years under the Trump regime, but it's really only been like 30 minutes. I've just been asleep. Getting to the bottom of these eyebrows here.
Tucker is smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. But like so many in the commentary business, the clicks and the giggles have contributed to a terminal case of brain rot. True, actual, undeniable brain rot. Tucker is smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. But like so many
territory war or something there,
the clicks and giggles have contributed to a terminal case of brain rot. True, actual, undeniable brain rot. Tucker is smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. But like so many in the commentary business, the clicks and the giggles have contributed to a terminal case of brain rot. True, actual, undeniable brain rot. Tucker is smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. But like so many in the commentary business, the clicks and the giggles.
They're having a little military engagement, it looks like. All right, let's do this. While we're on the topic of Tucker, Ted Cruz, your boy Teddy, longtime viewer of the show, he called in here once. I don't know if you guys remember. It was on his way. There's some type of inclement weather going on in Texas, and he was flying out to Cozumel or Cancun or something. I can't remember. Anyways, he called in while he was in the airport lounge. Anyways, he's announced a war on Tucker Carlson.
I believe Tucker Carlson is the single most dangerous demagogue in this country.
It's like half the claps.
I've made the decision that I'm going to take him on head directly.
What? I'm going to take his head on directly. What was that? What happened? Did no one write this part of the speech for you?
And I'll tell you, I've made the decision that I'm going to take him on head directly.
Were you going to say head first? Like the way you would go down a water slide? Or were you going to say head to head? Or head fuck? Head to face? What exactly was that hard F for? I'm going to take him on head directly. That was weird, dude. I'm telling you, if I was Ted Cruz, the first time I saw Trump after the 2016 election, I'd punched him right in the goddamn mouth for the way he talked about my wife.
Decision that I'm going to take him on head directly. If you look at the dissent of Tucker Carlson, and they're all the sort of lesser chattering voices that are moons circling his twisted planet. But if you look at the dissent,
one guy laughs. The people around him are like moons circling his demented planets. One guy way in the back.
look at the dissent of Tucker Carlson, and they're all the sort of lesser chattering voices that are moons circling his twisted planet. But if you look at the
Who's that one? Did they pay one guy to laugh? They're like, we'll save some money. We'll pay one guy, and he'll make the whole room erupt into laughter.
dissent, it started about a year and a half ago with platforming crackpot professors seeking to rewrite history.
I agree with what a lot of Ted Cruz says, but Ted Cruz was already destroyed by Tucker Carlson in an interview. We all fucking watched it. Like, unless this is some type of weird redemption arc, you're not going to be like, Zionism, yay, down with Ted, or down with Tucker. It's not going to happen. But yes, Tucker was radicalized. Yes, Tucker did. I don't think Tucker believes any of these things. I think Tucker's extremely smart. I don't think Tucker thinks that he was scratched by a night demon either. I think he knows the audience he's playing it up for. And he's doing better now than he was when he was on Fox News. Right? He might not have that guaranteed contract, but he's making money fucking hand over fist. And he can say his hands are less tied with what he can say, what he has to agree with. So he has on crackpots and it's like, oh yeah, really? Yeah? You think the U.S. should have sided with Germany in World War II, right? And Winston Churchill is the biggest villain of modern history? Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Seeking to rewrite history about World War II. So he has one idiot whom he describes as the most consequential popular historian in the country, who leans forward and intones that...
Is it normal to have a headache for like 4 days? I've taken all the ibuprofen. All. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. I owe my doctor about 852 phone calls tomorrow.
Winston Churchill was the villain of World War II. He then finds another crackpot professor who says there's a good argument that America should have sided with the Nazis in Germany in World War II. And for all of this, Tucker...
If I need glasses, don't tell my contacts. They'll get jealous.
Gazes adoringly. By the way, no, there is not. Winston Churchill was an extraordinary historical figure. There's a reason Churchill's bust is on my mantle.
Churchill's bust is on my mantle because I'm going to head directly. I'm going to look at him directly.
If you come to my office, on the mantle there's
only water, brother. Only. I quit drinking soda. I haven't had a headache for 4 days. I had a headache 2 days ago and I have a headache today.
3 busts, one of Churchill, one of Reagan, and one of Dr. Martin.
I was exaggerating for the clicks. You got me. You got me. I was clip farming. You busted me. Take me to the gulag.
Luther King Jr. 3 extraordinary leaders who had vision. But it's not just there. It then descends. Look, Nick Fuentes.
Someone did not write this speech. It doesn't just stop there. It descends. Look, Nick Fuentes. Stay on script.
3 busts, one of Churchill, one of Reagan, and one of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 3 extraordinary leaders who had vision. But it's not just there. It then descends. Look, Nick Fuentes. It's actually interesting if you look at Republican politicians. Nick Fuentes is easy to denounce. And I actually think it's a tell among a Republican politician.
It must be in Hebrew then, because this is poorly put together.
If they'll denounce Fuentes but are scared to say Tucker's name, that tells you a great deal. Nick Fuentes is a goose-stepping Nazi.
By the way, almost all the comments backfired on him. I'm just going to read the first probably 10, okay? I think Tucker should run for president. Tucker already dismantled Ted Cruz in that interview. Smells like Zionist propaganda. This picture, and then it just says, "We love Tucker." This picture smells like Zionist propaganda. Respect for Tucker Carlson. I'm from Texas. I vote against Ted every time. Aw, man, don't make me defend Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, we love you. Respect for Tucker Carlson. Group photo of everyone who cares. You already lost really bad with Tucker. Don't try it again. Tucker, he's working his way up. He's a decent man, and he is an honest man. You lost to him already. We love Tucker. Respect for Tucker. Ted Cruz will lose. Leave Tucker alone. I need. Hey, Senator Cruz, do you remember what you said about Donald Trump a few years ago? We love Tucker Carlson. We love Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, we love you. What about you? Hardly any enthusiastic applause. They love Tucker. Has he met our president? This meme. It's okay, bro. I know you're stupid, meme. Ted, shame on you in speaking this way. Tucker is a great journalist. You're not on Tucker's level. This meme. This meme. I don't know what to think until Trump tells me. We're in danger. We love Tucker. Mr. Tucker is the best. Oh, I'd like to see that debate. I'm thinking Tucker would win. Sorry, Ted, but Tucker is good. We love Tucker. Love Tucker. Love Tucker. Tucker Carlson is getting more popular. God bless Tucker. I used to be a fan of Ted, but he has completely lost it. Who is Ted speaking for now? Not me. Tucker isn't a politician, so I trust him more. This meme. Basically, yes, Tucker is winning the comment war.
And by the way, I'm not one who throws around the term Nazi loosely. But when Nick Fuentes says Hitler was very, very cool, I like Hitler and I agree with Hitler. Like, when you say you agree with Hitler, you are a Nazi. Tucker has Fuentes on his show.
Isn't it weird that the left has been like, whoa, the right's getting pretty far right. They're kind of like getting like Nazis. That's Nazi propaganda. That's a Nazi slogan. That's very Nazi-esque. You sound like a Nazi. And the right's been like, get out of here. They call everything a Nazi. Then when they have infighting, they're like, Tucker's a Nazi. Nick's a Nazi. Yeah, we try to tell you.
Question him about any of the ridiculous things he said. Doesn't react at all when Fuentes tells him his mission is to combat global...
Iran has, so if we're talking about mines again, Iran has 3 Kilo class submarines that lay their mines. I'm sure they could do it from boats and shit too, but, you know, we're not watching, you know, a surface vessel is going to be kind of hard to get by our, our airstrikes and shit.
Jewelry. And Tucker nods. Interesting. Fuentes tells him react at all when Fuentes tells him his mission is to combat global Jewry. And Tucker nods.
Is Jewry a word, or is that just like I've heard it a bunch online, but is it like a real word? Not jewelry, Jewry. Oh, yes, Jewry. I put an extra E in it. It's Jewry. Plural would be juries. Is often archaic and an often archaic collective noun referring to Jewish people, community, or what the fuck? That's a typo. While historically used in scholarly contexts, Soviet Jewry, it can be considered outdated and, depending on context, may be perceived as offensive.
Interesting. Fuentes tells him every year he celebrates Stalin's birthday. By the way, what kind of freak?
I know it's an online thing. People say Jewry all the time, like acting like a Jewish person or being Jewish or whatever. But I didn't know it was an actual word.
even knows Stalin's birthday. I don't know it, and I don't care to know it. But Tucker just coos when he says that. I believe Tucker Carlson is the single most dangerous demagogue in this country.
Oh, really? Who doesn't know December 18th, 1878? Of course I have Joseph Stalin's birthday memorized. Why wouldn't I? Ted Cruz versus Tucker. Have you guys ever seen the dressing down that Jon Stewart gave to Tucker Carlson when he was still in a bow tie on CNN with his buddy doing the counterpoints or whatever their show was called, Talking Points, something?
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Oh, damn, Ted Cruz. Are you a pair of $800 Ferragamo boat shoes? Because Tucker Carlson owned you, buddy. And Ted Cruz was like, I know the population. Just give me a second to count, okay? Let's see. There's the Ayatollah. That's one. The Iron Sheik, two. Is Aladdin one? I don't know. No.
I will say in a college classroom, I'm a lot less certain.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because,
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
what
predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even. You don't know anything about Iran, so
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that,
carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any...
Rebound headaches.
We're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting...
I'm trying to get some of that RFK autism.
The United States government is...
I don't know how much I have to take, or maybe it's just too late. I don't know.
We are supporting Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
Boy. If Tucker would have just waited a year.
Population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population?
I can't believe he doesn't know Stalin's birthday. What a fucking loser. Man, it's over 2 hours. Let's see if we can get some highlights, at least. That's a crazy looking... Is that somebody drawing a gun from the back of a police car? That's insane.
Senator, thank you very much for spending the time to have this conversation.
It's good to be with you.
So you've come out for regime change in Iran as distinct just from taking out the nuclear sites. What does regime change look like in Iran?
Somebody else in charge.
How do you get there?
Look, that ultimately has to be a popular uprising from the people. And it's not a complicated question. Is America better off with a country that has a leader who hates us and wants to kill us, or to have a country with a leader who likes us and wants to be friends with us? And
definitely the latter's better.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so that's not a complicated...
Well, Trump hates half of us and wants to kill us, so...
statement. Look, I believe you look across the world when you have countries that have dictators that are viciously anti-America. Venezuela, Maduro hates us. Would we be better off with Maduro out of power? Absolutely. I want our enemies out of power, and I want our friends in power.
I could not agree more. The question is, how do you get there?
Of course.
We've been trying to kill Maduro for quite some time. We have troops there.
I don't know that we've been trying to kill Maduro.
We have. And I think you know that. And
I don't know that.
Okay, well, that's a statement of fact we have. So
we do have massive sanctions. We tried to pressure him out of.
Well, we're giving you a statement of fact. We have.
Well,
yeah,
I'm
and there's all
not
kinds of
aware of
stuff.
that.
I'm just saying there's a lot of pressure coming from various parts of the U.S. government on that government, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Same, the country of our ancestors, Cuba, 1959, we've been working on that. Hasn't worked. So I mean, both agree it's hard to do.
It absolutely is hard. And look, I think you're reasonable to ask, how do we produce that? And I think there's a distinction between what your objective is and the means to get it. There are all sorts of things I would say we would be better off. We'd be better off in China without Xi there. Should we invade China and topple Xi? Of course not.
Better off with no national debt.
There are lots of things.
Totally.
But it's good to say, all right, what are our objectives?
Right.
So with the Ayatollah in Iran, saying you're for regime change, I don't view as complicated. I mean, the guy literally leads mobs chanting death to America. So that's not good.
What if we just left Iran alone and rebuilt our fucking country's infrastructure? Wouldn't that be nice?
Definitely not good. But the reason I think it's important to get a little more detailed about how that might happen is because there's military action in progress, which we're supporting. And the president has said clearly, including last night, that he's focused on eliminating the capacity of the Iranian government to produce nuclear weapons. You are saying we need to use military force to effect regime change.
I have not said that.
Oh, I must have.
No, I have not said that once. I don't think we need to use military force to do regime change. I said I support it. I would like to see it happen. You asked me how should it happen? A popular uprising. So what I've advocated for. All right, let's step back a second. You and I, we've known each other a long time. I would say we agree on about 80% of the things on Earth.
For sure.
And there are a lot of things, and we can get into the nitty-gritty
For sure.
as much as you want. There are a lot of things on which you and I agree, not just a little bit, but violently.
I totally agree. I was rooting for you in your last campaign, for sure.
Well, thank you. Look, you have been heroic on the border. You've been one of the clearest and best voices in the whole country on securing the border and the absolute crisis we're facing. And in Texas, I see it and live it every day. In COVID, in fact, you may recall, in the middle of the COVID lockdown, I was out walking my dog when the whole world was shut down and we were living in lunatic times. And I called you and said, Tucker, your nightly monologues are the single best thing on television. Like I watch them like an injection of crack. Okay, I'm mixing my metaphor because you don't inject crack, but you get what I'm saying. No, I mean, you were standing up and speaking like, what the hell are we doing, in a way that we desperately, desperately needed. And so whether it's securing the border, whether it's the insanity of COVID lockdowns and the vaccine mandates, whether it is the Second Amendment or the First Amendment, you and I agree on a ton of stuff. The 20% where we disagree, I do think is meaningful, and it's mostly in the foreign policy space. And what I would say, if you'll allow me to get a little theoretical, and then I'm happy to get specific.
Yeah.
For a long time, people have perceived two different poles of Republican foreign policy. There have been interventionists, and those have been people like John McCain and Lindsey Graham, George W. Bush, and there have been isolationists. And the most prominent of those have been Ron Paul and Rand Paul, and there are others. And people perceive those are the two choices. You got to be one or the other. I've always thought both were wrong. I don't agree with either one. The way I view my own foreign policy...
I'm with you, by the way, for whatever it's worth. I agree with you.
Okay, good.
I don't know who set up that binary, but there are lots of choices, actually.
I mean, people sort of naturally fall into... I think they want to classify people, and they're like, okay, you're one or the other, and you got to be all or nothing. And the interventionists, it seems, have never seen a country they didn't want to invade, and that doesn't make any sense to me. And the isolationists, I think, don't take the threats to America seriously, and I think that's naive, and it doesn't work. And so my view, I consider myself a third point on the triangle. And what I describe that as is that I am a non-interventionist hawk. Which sounds a little weird, but what do I mean by that? I mean the central touch point for U.S. foreign policy and for any question of military intervention should be the vital national security interest of the United States. How does this make America safer? How does this protect Americans? If it does, we should be strong. And actually, another way of conceiving what I'm saying, I'm speaking theoretically, but Reagan referred to it as peace through strength. And actually, I think Donald Trump's foreign policy is very much what I'm describing, a non-interventionist hawk, where he understands, that, and I think this is historically true, the best way to avoid war is being strong. That weakness and isolationism, I think, encourages war. So going back to regime change, where you started in Iran.
Just to make, I don't think I disagree with anything you said, so we may not be that far apart, really, because you said that the single criterion for making decisions about America's foreign policy is America's national interest.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, which is also America first. That's another way of putting that as well.
That's the definition of it.
Yeah.
It's hardly breaking news. The U.S. dollar...
Oh, that's the definition of it. I don't want Tucker to read his ads. Sorry.
And so I think we are. And from what you've said publicly, I think on Iran in particular, you and I disagree. And all right, let me contrast it when Obama was president. When Obama was president, you remember he talked about wanting to have military action against Syria. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I tried to keep an open mind to it. I said, okay, let me listen to the commander-in-chief, describe to me how this is in America's interest and what your plan is. And Bashar Assad was a bad guy. He was killing his own citizens, and he had chemical weapons that were very dangerous. I could conceive of a commander-in-chief laying out a plan for, okay, we're going to go in and say, grab the chemical weapons and leave. Like, I could see that if there was a real threat to America and there was a plan to prevent that, I could see supporting that. So I wanted to hear what he had to say. And I listened both in classified briefings and public questioning. And number one, their public defense of it was incoherent. So John Kerry said, we're going to engage in an unbelievably small strike. I think that's a quote. I'm like, okay, and to do what? At the time, there were 9 major rebel Islamic groups in Syria. I'm like, okay, I agree, Bashar Assad's a bad guy. You topple him. And one of the 9 other groups takes over. 7 of them were affiliated with radical Islamic terrorism. You had Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra. I'm like, wait, how is it better to have lunatics who hate us in charge? Assad's a bad guy, but I don't want worse guys in charge. Obama administration couldn't give an answer to that. And ultimately, when you press them, John Kerry in particular, I pressed, and he would say, well, we need to defend international norms. What the hell's an international norm? I don't know what it is, but I'm not interested in putting U.S. servicemen and women in harm's way to defend one.
Amen.
So I opposed the Syria attack and opposed it vocally. And it was interesting. Rand and I agreed. Rand's a friend of mine. But we agreed with that position for different reasons. What I was asking is I think the question we should ask, how does this make America safer? The Obama administration couldn't give me an answer, so I opposed it. I think Iran is very different.
Let me ask what you think of how Syria wound up, because Bashar al-Assad now lives in Moscow.
Yeah.
He was taken out by our allies, and he's been replaced by a radical Islamist who was affiliated with ISIS. So is that a win or no?
Unclear. Look, Syria's a mess, so I've consistently opposed.
So we had a secular leader in a religious and ethnically diverse country. Now we have a religious extremist, Islamic religious extremist, who's overseen the purge of Christians and Alawites. Is that better? It doesn't seem like a win.
One of the things you said is he was taken out by our allies. I don't think that's right. Israel didn't take Assad out. What happened, and I'll tell you.
What about Turkey?
Turkey didn't take him out. So it was interesting. I had a long...
How did Assad get kicked out?
Yeah. When Netanyahu was in D.C. a couple of months ago, he and I sat down for a couple of hours. He's a good friend of mine. And we talked actually about Syria. He made an interesting point that I've not heard anywhere else, in that he said he believes what toppled Assad was when Israel took out Nasrallah. Nasrallah was the head of Hezbollah, and they took him out. And he made an interesting point. He said it's fascinating how a charismatic leader, and Bibi said, look, Nasrallah was a very effective terrorist leader. And when they took him out, that power base was supporting Assad. And that ultimately, in Bibi's analysis, removed the support from Assad and toppled him. But they weren't trying to take out Assad. My view now, I don't know.
So you don't think that, and I don't, it is very confusing, and I don't know that anyone really knows all the details, but you don't think that Israel or Turkey or NATO ally Turkey played any role in toppling Assad?
I don't know. I don't know that they did. Look, my understanding of that, they clearly took out Nasrallah and Hezbollah. They've decimated Hezbollah, but Hezbollah was waging war on them. So decimating Hezbollah was very good for Israel and very good for America, too. I mean, Hezbollah hated us. I would put Assad in the category of an unintended consequence, and whether it's good or bad, I don't know. I think time will tell.
For the United States?
Yeah, for the United States. I think time will tell the new leadership there. You're right to be concerned. Let me step back and let's talk regime change generally. I mentioned Syria. I also opposed the Iraq War. I think the Iraq War was a serious mistake. And we have a pattern, and going back to this binary of the interventionist and the isolationist. The interventionists advocate over and over again. There's a bad guy. There's a dictator who's doing bad things to his people. And they say, let's go topple him. And you have dictators in the Middle East who are killing radical Islamic terrorists. We come in and topple them. The radical Islamic terrorists take over and they start killing Americans. In my view, how the heck does that help us? Like, Saddam Hussein was a horrible human being. He murdered and tortured people. Unequivocally bad guy. But it got much worse after we toppled him. And you ended up having ISIS rise up. I mean, that was the cause of ISIS, was toppling Saddam Hussein. Same thing in Libya. You had Gaddafi, another horrible guy, that under Obama, we toppled him. And you ended up having radical Islamic warlords taking over. And so it's the question I asked in Syria. Okay, well, what's the plan? And how is this good or bad for the United States? And so I don't think, with Iran, I view Iran as very different from Iraq.
But up to that point, you say we disagree. I don't hear really anything. I'm not quite sure what happened in Syria, but I don't know. So, right. But other than that, I don't hear anything I disagree with at all.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're in a complete agreement. I wonder, though, is there a successful regime change that the United States supported that you're aware of in the last 100 years?
Sure. Defeating the Soviet Union.
Sorry, is this boring you all? I'm interested in to see the back and forth, but if it's boring you all, we can move on to something else. It's all more justification to turn a human into a meat pile, and that's so easy for them. Seriously, not talking about bad actors, talking about some family enjoy. Oh, yeah. I don't know, dude. I think a lot about my time overseas and wars, and you never, I mean, at some point it's like kill or be killed. We didn't get to make any of the decisions that put us there, but we were there. But then you start thinking about, man, they got family, they've got people, they didn't know this. They've been put in the same situation I was in by choices they didn't make. You know what I mean?
And the Soviet Union collapsing, winning the Cold War.
I think it's a lot different if someone kicks down my door and I have to defend myself rather than being in fucking Iraq or Afghanistan in a goddamn gunfight with a foreign soldier.
That was the most consequential step for U.S. national security interests of our life.
It's even more disconnected when it's just someone that's just on an army base because they joined the army for a job or whatever, right? And they're just sitting there one day and we just blow them out of existence.
Okay. And so you would classify that as a regime change that we affected?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look, you and I are in my office. We're sitting next to a painting of Reagan in front of the Brandenburg Gate. And up top are the words, tear down this wall, in German, in the style of the graffiti.
Right.
And I think those are the most important words any leader has said in modern times. And if you look at how Reagan waged the Cold War, And Reagan is very much my model for how to, I actually think how Reagan took on the Soviet Union is exactly how we should take on China. Now, starting from the point, look, Reagan was not an interventionist. In 8 years, the biggest country Reagan ever invaded was Grenada. He was very reluctant to use U.S. military force.
He didn't respond after the 83 barracks bombing.
You're right. He made the judgment that the risk exceeded the benefits. And that's a very rational decision to make. And it's reflected. Trump has made those same decisions where he is willing to use military force, but he very much asks, okay, is this good or bad for America? Does this endanger U.S. servicemen and women or not? And one of the points about the Cold War, look, nobody in their right mind wanted a shooting war between America and the Soviet Union. The two biggest nuclear powers on Earth firing bullets at each other is really unhealthy for human beings. Same thing is true with China. Nobody with any sense says, hey, let's go to war with China. That's really dumb, and a whole lot of people could die. But the Cold War showed we've got lots of tools short of sending the Marines to fight against a regime. And one of the most important tools is the bully pulpit. And so when I say I support regime change, I actually think just simply laying out what the Ayatollah does. And so I spend a lot of time, I speak to Iranian dissident groups. I speak out against human rights abuses. I think shining a light on the depravity of leaders is a really powerful tool that America has.
Should we limit our activity to that?
It depends. Again,
because the U.S. government pays opposition groups, militarized opposition groups in Iran to overthrow the government. We've done that in a lot of different places, as you know. I'm not saying it's bad, but that's very different from what you're describing. You're saying we're making moral cases. We did for 7 years with the Soviets. Our system works, yours doesn't.
Yep.
And I think we
agree.
That, and we beat them for 70 years economically.
And that was a huge part of it.
Right. I think everyone agreed that was the main part of it. We didn't beat them in Vietnam or North Korea.
The main part of it was tied to a military buildup. So I think it was two things. It was one, the clarity. So Reagan came in and he described the Soviet Union as an evil empire.
Right.
And all of the intelligentsia in D.C., all the Democrats, all the media, they're like, what a horrible thing to say. You can't say that. Reagan went to the United Kingdom and he said, Marxism, Leninism will end up on the ash heap of history. People were horrified. They asked him, all right, what's your strategy in the Cold War? He said, very simple. We win, they lose. And it was all viewed as sort of a Philistine simplicity. And I think it was exactly right. And laying that out, speaking, do you know the backstory behind the Berlin Wall speech?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
You probably know Peter Robinson, who was a speechwriter.
Yes.
So 3 times the State Department deleted those words from that speech. And 3 times Reagan wrote it back. And the State Department argued, they said, Mr. President, you can't say this. This is too bellicose. This is too provocative. And my favorite, they said, this is too unrealistic. The Berlin Wall will stand till the end of time. And Reagan said, look, this is the whole point of the speech. And less than 3 years after Reagan gave that speech, the Berlin Wall was torn to the ground. And it wasn't knocked down by American Army tanks. We didn't shoot missiles at it. It was shining truth and light that tore it down. It was also rebuilding the American military. It was what was then pejoratively called Star Wars, where the Soviet Union, their economy couldn't match our military buildup, and it bankrupted them. That's an example of peace through strength.
I wonder, is there anybody who was alive in 1989 who wouldn't trade that America for the one we live in now? There's not one person, I don't think.
Oh, sure.
But, just the basic...
Yeah, we covered that last night. They've been showing in fake polls that are like 90-10 in support of intervention in Iran and the war in Iran.
Metrics, debt, suicide rate, life expectancy.
That's why he's always on. That's exactly right, Michaela. That's what I was going to say. That's why he's always on Truth Social saying, this is the highest approval I've ever had. But they've been showing him fake polls for God knows how long. That's probably why he's also lashing out at other pollsters and saying he's going to sue them, because the polls that he's seeing are internal polls that are just faked.
I wonder why, after that victory, America didn't thrive in the way that we thought that it would, that I thought that it would. My family was involved in that. We were very focused on it in my house. We won. And I wonder 2 things. Why didn't the United States kind of declare victory and make some sort of arrangement with Russia that allowed mutual prosperity rather than continuing a Cold War? And second, I wonder why the United States didn't get a lot better. Why don't we have better infrastructure? Why don't we have fewer homeless? Why do we have all these drugs? If we won, why does our country look like this? I walked across from Union Station this morning, as you do, I'm sure, every day, and all these people lying in the streets, sleeping outside. It's what is that?
We're sorry to say it, but this is not a very safe country. Walk through.
Yeah, I don't want Tucker to do his ads, so...
Really dangerous forces in our society. Some of it is politics and some of it is culture. And one of the mistakes people make in politics is thinking everything is politics.
All right, fuck them. They're fighting. They're doing their thing. Most replayed portions are right here.
So the political answer, which I happen to believe, is we went much further down the road of liberalism. You look at Bill Clinton, who inherited the peace dividend of the Cold War being over and moved us more to the left, and then Obama accelerated it a lot. So there are lots of bad economic policies, but I also think they're cultural things. The loss of faith,
I agree with all of
family.
I know what you're going to say, and I agree 100%. I bet there's not one word that I would disagree with. All I'm saying is, I think it's important to step back and ask.
But I actually think Russia has very little to do with it. So,
well, that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make, which is we're all sort of focused on beating our adversaries for free. When was the last time AIPAC took a position that deviated from Prime Minister Netanyahu?
All the time.
Name one.
Okay.
AIPAC deviate from Netanyahu. They don't.
Let me go back and give a little history. If you want to do a deep dive on AIPAC.
I don't. I want to do a shallow dive.
No.
I want to get to the core question. AIPAC is lobbying for a foreign government. And I don't. It's not. It's lobbying for the United States.
It is lobbying for a strong U.S.-Israeli relationship.
Okay. So it's not has nothing to do with the foreign government.
It wants America and Israel to be closely allied.
Okay, but it's lobbying on behalf of the interests of another country.
So that's not true at all. And if
It's not true.
No.
How much contact do you think AIPAC leaders have with the government of Israel?
No idea. I imagine some. I think the government of Israel is often frustrated with AIPAC.
Do you think there's any?
That's been happening all day.
Nearly strong enough.
Do you think there's any coordination between the government of Israel and AIPAC?
Do they talk? Sure. If you're
They've been blowing up ships, laying mine all day.
lobbying for more U.S.-Mexico trade, would you talk to people in the U.S. and Mexico and the government? Sure. Like if.
So I'm not mad about that. There are a million countries that lobby Washington. I like a lot of those countries, including.
Okay, but AIPAC are Americans,
but
not
hold on. There are tons of Americans who lobby on behalf of foreign governments. I know them. I'm related to some of them. I know how it works. I'm from here. So my question is not.
I'm from here.
Outrageous that foreign governments lobby the United States. They all do. Okay, including Israel. My only question is why don't we admit that is what's happening? You're denying it, but it's true.
Yeah,
and
what you're saying is false.
Why aren't they registered as a foreign lobby?
Because they're not.
So what AIPAC does, okay, is they almost always have the intentions of Israel. It's not directly from Israeli money, right? It's not from Israel. It's not from Netanyahu. It is they target wealthy Jewish people in the United States, get them to put their money together because they're American citizens, American business owners. They put that money together and then throw expensive fundraising dinners and donate and super PACs and direct contribute, everything, right? But technically, they are Jewish American people that believe in a very strong relationship between the United States and Israel.
They're not a foreign lobby.
No, they're not. And there's a fever swamp.
Look, it's not a fever swamp.
They're technically not a foreign lobby, right? It is not Israel, right? But as Tucker said, he said, name a time that AIPAC didn't agree with what fucking Netanyahu and Israel wanted. When have they ever deviated on an issue at all?
Reasonable questions, and you've accused me of being obsessed with Israel, which I'm not.
I actually haven't. I've said
and being feverish about it, which I'm not at all. I find it's a very tender spot when you ask it, and I don't know why.
So, Tucker, all right, let's go back. I was first elected to the Senate in 2012. I came in Obama's second term. And I actually saw AIPAC be badly wounded in a way they never came back from. And the second term is when Obama did.
Goals of the Israeli government to any extent.
Okay, that's
a really
different
simple
from
question.
lobbying on behalf of.
It's a simple question. Are AIPAC's goals shaped by the goals of the Israeli government? And I'm just going to ask you a question straightforwardly. And if you say no, I think we both know that's not true.
Hey, are they shaped by? Are
they coordinating with the Israeli government?
Are they talking with them? Yes.
The Israeli
Israel
government?
directing them? What are you?
Well, because of the way it's set up. I mean, it is it's a registered lobbying organization that reports all of their funding from who, for what amounts. And then those people report their earned income, file their taxes and shit. Technically, could they sneak money in? Not large amounts.
About FARA, the law on lobbying on behalf of someone, It is, I hire you and you lobby on behalf of me. I direct you. Does Israel direct AIPAC? No, they're not lobbying on behalf of them. Or do they care about them? Yes, but...
Or do you think that... It's just interesting because what you're now describing, in a very defensive way, I will say, is foreign influence over our politics.
No.
And you began, and it's so transparently obvious to everybody, I don't know why you'd be embarrassed of it. You said that you were sincerely for Israel. I believe you. I don't think you have some weird agenda. You seem to be sincere.
By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel. When we're talking about foreign countries,
hardly an obsession.
You're not talking about Chinese. You're not talking about Japanese. You're not talking about the Brits. You're not talking about the French. The question: what about the Jews? What about the Jews?
Oh, I'm an anti-Semite now.
Senator, you're asking the question, Tucker. You're asking why are the Jews controlling our foreign policy?
Senator,
that's what you just asked.
Hardly saying that, and I have.
That is exactly what you just said.
Well, actually, I can speak for myself and tell you what I am saying on behalf not simply of myself, but of my many Jewish friends who would have the same questions, which is to what extent. And it's interesting you're trying to derail my questions.
Ooh, he pulled out the Jewish friends part.
An anti-Semite, which you are.
I did not.
Of course you are. And rather than be honorable enough to say it right to my face, you are in a sleazy, feline way implying it, or just asking questions about the Jews. I'm not asking questions about the Jews. There's nothing to do with Jews or Judaism. It has to do with the foreign government.
Isn't Israel controlling our foreign policy? That's not about the Jews.
You said, I'm asking
by the way, you're the one
That's not about the Jews. It's about Israel, the nation.
It's called me, I think, a sleazy feline. So let's be clear.
It's sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite, which you just did.
No, I just said, why is that the only question you're asking? You answer. Give me another reason. If you're not an anti-Semite, give me another reason why the obsession is Israel.
I am in no sense obsessed with Israel. We are on the brink of war with Iran, and so these are valid questions.
But you're not asking about
if I can finish, you asked me why I'm obsessed with Israel.
Yep.
3 minutes after telling me that when you first ran for Congress, you elucidated one of your main goals, which is to defend Israel.
Yes.
And I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel. I don't see a lawmaker's job as defending the interests of a foreign government, period. Any government, including the ones that my ancestors come from. So that's my position. That does not make me an anti-Semite. And shame on you for suggesting otherwise, and I mean that. And that's low, and you know it's low. So why don't you just answer my questions in a straightforward, rational way? You certainly have the IQ to do it.
So shame on you is cute, by the way, Tucker.
It is. It's not cute. I'm offended.
I'm
obsessed with the Jews. You just told me
you just called me a sleazy feline.
It is sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite for asking questions about how my government is run.
You want to count how many questions you asked about? What about the Jews? What about Israel? What about AIPAC?
You never asked about the Jews. This has nothing to do with the Jews, whatever that means. This has to do with a foreign government. And once again, shame on you for conflating the two. They have nothing to do with each other. I'm talking about the influence
Israel and Jews have nothing to do with each other?
All Jews, or an attack on all Jews, which I am not, nor would I ever be undertaken. Now, I'm not attacking anybody.
By the way, that's who Iran wants to kill, is all the Jews and all the Americans.
And I'm totally opposed to that, okay? But now, because
Except you don't want to do
specific
anything
decisions need to be made.
We can talk about
He
that.
doesn't want to let him finish this point because it is a valid point, right? The government of Israel, they're lobbying the actions of AIPAC versus the entire Jewish religion and everybody that falls under that.
And I plan to.
Good.
But I just want to get a sense of whether you think, having described yourself as an America First person whose only criterion for judgment of foreign policy is America's national interest, to what extent you're influenced by a foreign government, which gives you a lot of money through its lobby, and you're claiming this has nothing to do with foreign government. They're not coordinating. Yes, they're spying on us, but it doesn't bother you. And I'm sort of wondering, like, what is this? This is the one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had.
I'll tell you what, and I'll answer any question you like, but let's try.
Are you going to call me an anti-Semite again or no?
Let's try to ratchet down the temperature a little.
You're the one who went to motive. I'm asking honest questions.
I'm
just asking questions. Yes, that's it. That is what I'm doing.
Let's try to ratchet down the temperature a little bit.
Picture the house of your dreams. Maybe it's got an outdoor.
Fuck you.
It's a great movie. It's actually a fun comedy about politics. And Eddie Murphy in the movie is a con man who gets elected to Congress. And he's literally a con man who, the congressman dies, he has the same name, and so he runs and they get elected. And there's a scene in the movie where Eddie
He
Murphy is
also
a member of Congress.
gets him pretty good in just a second. Hold on,
And
let me speed it up.
he's asking the lobbyists, all right, what should my positions be on, I think they were talking about power plants and electrical transmission lines. And the lobbyist's like, well, what do you believe? And Eddie Murphy's comment said, I don't care, whatever gets me the most money, I'll do whatever gets me the most money. And the lobbyist says, no, pick a side, doesn't matter what you pick. If you pick one side, we'll go shake down everyone who supports that side and they'll give you money. If you pick the other side, that's fine, we'll just go to the other side and shake down that. That's a little bit the way it works. And you often get leftists in the media who say, for example, if you support the Second Amendment, as you do and I do, well, you're just bought and paid for by the NRA. And that actually is backwards. I believe in the Second Amendment because I believe in the Constitution. Now, am I proud that the NRA supports me? Sure, because people who care about the Second Amendment want to support leaders who fight for it. But it gets it backward. Look, AIPAC, when I ran for the Senate, AIPAC didn't support me. I supported Israel before they supported me. I'm happy to have their support because they share my objective.
No, but you're mistaken. I'm not suggesting that you're bought and paid for. I'm not saying
You actually want to go back.
I wonder where this. Hold on. Let's Google this. How many years of indoctrination and just hearing the same thing over and over, and who brought it and who taught it, and that basically evangelical Christians across the board like have to live and breathe and die protecting Israel. Because when I was growing up in church, that was it, right? They're surrounded by all these enemies. There's God's chosen people. The church, America can't be alone. We have to stand with Israel. We have to be there for Israel. We have to support Israel. We have to take care of Israel. And if you don't care about it, then you can't be a Christian kind of deal. Where did all that come from?
Views are sincere.
I want to go back and take the transcript because you just said a minute ago, are you, I'm slightly
The AI says Billy Graham got a lot of people supporting Israel. The 6-Day War was a pivotal moment that solidified the prophetic significance of Israel because Israel was basically standing up against everybody around them, and they still pulled it off. 80s and 90s, the rise of the moral majority and Christian coalition cemented pro-Israeli stances among political conservatives. The creation of Christians United for Israel, CUFI, in 2006 by John Hagee created a major single-issue lobbying group of evangelicals in full support of Israel.
paraphrasing, but are you lobbying for a foreign government because they pay you a lot of money? That's basically what you said. So you are suggesting
let me just be clear about what I think. Your views seem totally sincere.
Yes.
You take money from people who agree with you.
Yeah.
I believe that. I'm only trying to get to the question of to what extent is the U.S. government influenced by other governments? And it's a lot. It's hardly just Israel. It's
Because did it take it down for copyright? Let me see. Let me check. Chill. Yes, live stream. Your stream was interrupted. Okay, we can't finish watching this. It was getting good though. I do seriously want to see what this is. My ADHD has been killing me. I couldn't even look over here at this thumbnail because I wanted to see this so much. It says, I built a space cannon. Talk about a good goddamn fucking title and thumbnail. I couldn't even look in this direction. How fucking awesome, dude. I built a space cannon.
Two, one.
Holy. What the fuck did we just watch? What did he just launch?
This is my cannon. It's very large, and it fires these projectiles to several hundred.
Holy shit. That's a mortar. He just built a mortar. No? A space mortar? We got to watch something else till the stream comes back. Hold on.
How do you interpret DEI?
So this is a guy that worked with Doge, okay? On the Doge board, deciding what shit to dismantle, what to keep, where funding went, where funding was cut, what was going on. In court, given a deposition. And the question is, how do you explain DEI? Pretty simple, because their ultimatum that they were given was to get rid of DEI. How do you describe? How do you explain? How can you tell us about DEI?
There was the EO explicitly laid out. The details, I don't remember it off the top of my head. That's okay. I'm asking for your understanding of it. Yeah, my understanding was exactly what was written in the EO. Okay, so can you... I don't remember what was in the EO. So right now, do you have an understanding of what DEI is? Yeah. Okay, so what's your understanding as you sit here today in this deposition? Well, it was exactly what was written in the EO. And so anytime that we would look at a grant through the lens of complying with an executive order, we would just refer back to the EO and assess if this grant had relation to it. Okay, but I guess I'm stepping back from your methodology.
So basically, he's like, well, the executive order laid it out. Yeah, but how would you describe it? Well, the executive order laid it out. We would look at the executive order and we would read it, and that would tell us whether it was DEI or not. He's like, I know there was an executive order. I know that happened. How would you personally describe it? How would you describe DEI?
Complying with an executive order, we would just refer back to the EO.
Deposition is part of a lawsuit brought by the Modern Language Association, American Council of Learned Societies, and the American Historical Association about the termination of NEH grants.
Complying with an executive order, we would just refer back to the EO and assess if this grant had relation to it. Okay, but I guess I'm stepping back from your methodology strictly in terminating the grants. Do you have an understanding?
That's the National Endowment for the Humanities.
As you sit here today of what DEI means? Yeah. Okay, so what's your understanding of what it means? Well, it is exactly what was written in the EO. Okay, so why is a documentary about Holocaust survivors DEI?
Objection.
It's the gender-based story that's inherently discriminatory to focus on this specific group. It's inherently discriminatory to focus on what specific group? The gender-based, so females during the Holocaust. And you believe...
What? Females during the Holocaust.
That's inherently it's inherently discriminatory to focus on what specific group?
A documentary about the Holocaust, and he's like, oh, well, it focused on females in the Holocaust, so that's DEI.
The gender-based, so females during the Holocaust.
This dude absolutely will strangle somebody to death in his life.
And you believe that that's inherently discriminatory?
And how much Adderall is this motherfucker on? Let's do the zoom in. All the Adderall. Look at that. Is there a fucking goddamn fucking sun at the tip of your nose? Thank you for the follow, bud.
That's what it's focused on. Sure. But this is related to DEI.
It is back up on YouTube, but I know it looks like a lot of people left while it was down, but it did come back.
But you just used the term inherently discriminatory. What did you mean by that? It's focusing on DEI principles, gender being one of them. So a documentary that's about women.
Destiny is one of the people that probably does the best with this. So we got a copyright. They basically said I was playing copyright material, even though I'm being transformative, even though it would probably fall under fair use. We paused it. We talked. We did all this. We did research. We called it up. We talked about the topic, whatever. It's fair use. Destiny does really good of streaming. Then his stream comes down or goes private or unlisted. Then his editor does really good at doing like speeding up, slowing down, a voice shift, stuff that it doesn't get flagged by copyright, so he can actually monetize the shit. Destiny's editor is amazing. I think he gets paid a lot, but he's amazing.
Would be DEI. Gotcha. Is that fair to say?
No.
Okay. So, tell me why what I just said isn't DEI, but what you just said is DEI.
Objection. It's a Jewish, specifically focused on Jewish cultures and amplifying the marginalized voices of the females in that culture. It's inherently related to DEI for those reasons. Specifically focused on Jewish culture.
Yeah, it's 100% available. It went down for a copyright strike for like, I don't know, 2 minutes.
How do you interpret DEI?
Insane that he can't give you an answer, right? This is the guy that was just canceling everything, right? Taking an axe to remove a fucking skin cell, and he can't tell you what DEI is. He can't tell you at all what DEI is. Oh my God, AI slop George Washington is coming to a city near you thanks to PragerU. Didn't, whoa, what's his name? Glenn Beck. Didn't Glenn Beck have an AI George Washington that he talked to about Donald Trump or some shit on one of his shows?
Right now, I'm watching AI slop George Washington talk about the American Revolution in a truck stopped in the parking lot of an elementary school in South Carolina. Yet,
oh no.
PragerU in the White House.
Oh no.
Where you can watch paintings of the founding fathers come to life via AI slop for the 250th anniversary of American independence.
The fate of liberty is in your hands.
I signed a digital copy of the Declaration of Independence on a touchscreen. There's also a quiz that asks leading questions designed to find out if I was a loyalist or patriot. The British Army sends soldiers to Boston. How do you react? Answer 1. View them as occupiers violating colonial liberty. Answer 2. Welcome them as defenders of law and order. With ICE and the National Guard patrolling American cities, I wondered how supporters of the current administration would answer that one. PragerU.
Dude, we're so fucking cooked, dude.
Is known for its America can do no wrong.
And half of the young male population are like fucking incels, fuck women. All they want to do is OnlyFans and take your money and give their pussy away for free, and they won't sleep with me. So I'm going to join the Nazi party because I'm white and I deserve more. Like, it's crazy.
Wrong view of U.S. history. Its short-form video content offers a cartoon version of the past, stripped of nuance and context, where the country lives up to the myth that it is a shining city on a hill. According to PragerU, the Civil War was not about slavery, and dropping the atomic bomb on Japan was a necessary and good thing. Now PragerU is taking its view of history on tour across the country. School children in every state will wander these trucks and encounter an AI slop version of the past. So this is Nick Bravo, a PragerU employee who told me that there are 6 Freedom trucks and that the plan is to have them travel the 48 contiguous United States over the next year.
No, dude, no.
Obviously, our main priority is schools. Families who do homeschooling like to take this as an opportunity to educate their kids.
Bravo told me that all the trucks.
Somebody said replace all the British soldier questions and change out British soldier for immigration's customs enforcement. See how they answer.
Content was generated as part of a partnership between PragerU and Hillsdale College, a Christian university that helped craft Project 2025. Every AI-generated video ended with a title card showing the White House and PragerU's logo, which reads, "The White House is grateful for the partnership with PragerU and the U.S. Department of Education for the production of this museum." To be clear, Trump has attempted to dismantle both the Institute of Museum and Library Services and the Department of Education. Trump's voice was the last thing I heard as I wandered into the bright afternoon sun.
I'm glad my kids think that Trump is more of like a comical, destructive force rather than somebody to look up to. What the fuck? All right, back to Space Cannon.
Feet. In my recent videos,
I could not click on this thumbnail. This guy is building a fucking mortar launcher that sends shit to space.
built and tested a scale version of the spin launch concept, which uses a giant spinning arm to boost a rocket into the air. This is a really cool idea, but what if instead of a big arm, I just used a cannon? Unsurprisingly, this is not a new idea. In the 1950s and 60s, the US and Canada funded something called Project HARP. The whole Project HARP history is really interesting, and the channel Real Engineering did a really good in-depth video. I'll leave a link below. But this absolute unit of a cannon had like a 180-foot barrel and could fire almost a 200-pound projectile over 100 miles into the air. That's basically halfway to the International Space Station, which is crazy. This is such an interesting idea that I really want to replicate on a small scale. So here's the plan. I'm basically going to start off by just building a giant potato cannon to fire a projectile as high as possible. And then I'll use this tiny camera to film what it would look like if you were on board.
Holy shit, dude.
As we shot of the cannon, which should make for some pretty incredible footage. Before I started building the cannon itself, I needed a good base. So I broke down some plywood into the size I needed, and I framed up some 2x4s for underneath it.
The build.
So I drilled like 100 holes in this thing. And this is just normal PVC pipe that I got from a hardware store. I cut down all the lengths I needed just using a chop saw, which is really quick and easy.
4-inch pop?
A lot of the connectors sold at like Home Depot are not actually rated for pressure when you get into the 3-inch and 4-inch sizes. They're mostly meant for drain lines, so they're only rated to like 5 PSI, or sometimes not even rated for any pressure. So I had to order Schedule 40 fittings, which are actually not that much more expensive, but it's hard to find. All of these get glued together using this primer and glue combo. The primer is the purple stuff, which is supposed to clean the surface, and then the glue has a solvent in it that actually melts the plastic together when you put the pipe into the fit. Gluing PVC together like this is so satisfying because it's super quick, but it's permanent, so be careful. I definitely made some sort of measurement error halfway through this, and so some of the pipes were longer than I needed, so I trimmed those down, and then everything fit together. Now to prevent, you can even use their app to pull up models and reference dimensions on the go. This is really helpful, and I could have prevented an easy video. OnShape is a cloud-native CAD and roll calculations, a cam a jacket held down some leg.
I use Fusion, but still.
Which should be more than strong enough for this. It's pneumatically actuated using this really cool rack and pinion system, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with how fast it was. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's extremely fast. Holy shit, that's extremely fast.
That thing's fast. This might actually work. With air cannons like
a lot of the problem with building air cannons and shit, if you want to electronically actuate it, is the valves are slow. A lot of people use like sprinkler valves and shit, but the valves are usually pretty slow.
How fast you can release the air is really important. It's honestly more important than the air pressure itself. The first valve to trigger is this tiny solenoid valve, and this actually triggers a 1-inch sprinkler valve. This 1-inch valve allows a lot more flow than the small valve, and this triggers the big ball valve. So basically I'm using 2 valves to control another valve, which might be a little counterintuitive, but I'm hoping this makes it actuate as fast as possible. I also have a couple manual ball valves on here, and that's so I can vent some air and manually return the ball valve to the closed position when I'm loading the cannon. On the other end of the ball valve from the air tank is the barrel. And interestingly enough, the fittings I had the hardest time finding were getting from a 2-inch thread to a 4-inch sweat fitting for PVC. So I kind of had to make do with what I had, and so I actually 3D printed a coupler. To do this, I used the Formlabs Tough 2000 resin, which is kind of like an ABS material, and this stuff is extremely tough, as the name implies. After the part was printed, I put it through a wash cycle to get all the extra resin off. And then I removed the support structure, which is extremely satisfying. These support structures on resin parts.
Oh, is that what it's called? Desolate? Paisleys? I just keep saying bandana pattern because I didn't know what it was.
It looks so cool. The supports did leave little bumps on the part, but that's fine because we can sand them off later. This resin does require post-curing, but after that was done, I smoothed everything out with some sandpaper and then used some epoxy to join everything together. Since I'm not using PVC, it handles
be some heavy-duty resin, dude.
With all the valves done, the only thing really left.
A fast valve would be much better when you're building a cannon, for sure.
And this is the electronics, and they're pretty simple for this project. I'm controlling everything.
Right, because you want the full you want the full pressure plus the full volume behind it. A slow valve would just let a portion of it go through, and your projectile would be launched before it even opened all the way up. You need a fast valve for potato cannon or launcher or whatever.
With an RC transmitter, and I'm using
Thank you. I did not know that word.
For firing the valve. I also added this analog pressure sensor just to give me an idea of how high the pressure is in the cannon.
I built a bunch of PVC cannons. In fact, when I get a time, when I do the other channel, get back on the other channel, the Cold Brick Creations, one of my things is a dildo cannon. I've got most of the parts and a couple sample dildos. They're going to be like Sabo rounds, so I'm going to 3D print a jacket that goes around these dildos that I bought off Amazon that like sandwiches on both sides and slides down the barrel to make a tight fit. And then they break away when the dildo's launched. But I got to get access to somewhere like a football field. But yeah, one of the projects for the Cold Brick Creations channel is a dildo cannon.
A little overkill for this project. I did use my PCB breakout boards for this. This board is a design I came up with where most of it is just a perf board that you can mount anything you want to on. So you still have a ton of flexibility, but it has a spot where you can easily mount a microcontroller and then it automatically breaks out the ground and all the voltage lines to a bunch of easy to use pads. It avoids having to solder like 5 wires to the same pin on the microcontroller, which I've done.
I wish there would be, I say this, maybe there wouldn't be that many uses for it. I wish I could get a hold of a slow motion camera. Could you imagine a fucking 300-mile-an-hour dildo hitting something in slow motion? I'd buy a mannequin. I swear to God, I'd buy a mannequin.
Countless offers. If you're interested in these and you think it might be useful for one of your projects, I do have a link in the description below where you can pick one up. With all the electronics packed into this nice waterproof container, this whole cannon is ready to be tested. For the initial projectiles, but for some reason the base of these were most likely a little bit used.
I've already got a head back here. Yeah, I've got like a manicurist head that's like on a clamp.
Rare, but in the end, the final parts turned out really good. Now, these rockets currently don't have a parachute, so they need a very durable.
I guess because I don't have a slow motion camera and shit, short of like what my cameras would do, which is not very good, or a cell phone camera would do, I was going to go for accuracy instead.
Nose cone. So I decided the best idea was just to test a bunch of materials. So I printed nose cones out of PLA, PETG, TPU, resin, and carbon fiber nylon. As soon as I got a free weekend, I went out to the testing field to fire this thing off.
I got to watch the stream because if I get another copyright warning, they'll take the stream down completely. Let's fire this bitch up. He leveled it and everything. That's sweet.
I forget to flatten this field. First step here to assemble the barrel. This is an 8-foot long barrel. I don't know if that's too long or not long enough, but I figure it's a good starting point. So let me also print this muzzle brake. Look at this thing. It's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Prints I've probably done. Slides right on there. And I'm not even going to glue it. I'm just going to let it stay on there with friction. Hopefully that's fine. So it really brings the look of this cannon. This might look familiar to you, and that's because I got the idea from this, which is a Nerf Vortex. I feel like everyone played with these things as kids, and the best part about it is you can feel like you can just throw it like a mile. They absolutely soar. This one's got a cool like whistle tip on it too.
That was the shit. When I was like in 3rd and 4th grade, we played football every day and had the Nerf balls, and we had teams. We had a bracket. You had it was almost like a tournament. You had scheduled like this team plays this team in the first part of recess, then the second half this team plays that team. It was fun.
Those things are awesome. So I basically have a tiny 3D printed version of it, and this is what we're gonna fire out of it, and we'll see how far it goes. The other thing I'm interested to know is what are these nose cones that are gonna protect the rocket enough that when it lands, it doesn't just shatter. I don't have parachutes in these. So I printed these, which are called sabos. And these
That's right. See this? That's what I'm talking about for dildos. So the dildos will have a 3D printed sabo jacket.
These are normal like tank projectiles as well, but
they'll fucking peel away after it leaves the barrel. He might have an issue though with that muzzle brake. Depending on what his tolerances are in that muzzle brake, they might try to peel and catch that muzzle brake.
On either side, and they make this the same diameter as the barrel. It also looks really cool. Look at that. So, take this. I'll be honest, the muzzle brake makes it a little hard to load.
See how much slops in that muzzle brake? You might try opening in the muzzle brake.
Probably 5 minutes. I realized there was an even bigger problem. The print down here is actually a little too small. It's like the projectile can just barely fit through there. Somehow in the process of designing this muzzle brake, I made the inner bore too small.
Oh no.
It would be catastrophic if we tried to fire it this way. So after a little bit of the muzzle brake off, I can fix it using a little bit of redneck engineering. I didn't have anything to grind down the PLA, so I literally just heated up this pipe with a bullet torch and then melted plastic to make the diameter larger. It's definitely not the most elegant solution, but it did work. Perfect fit. Then, take my stick here and just push it.
Ramrod.
Very satisfying noise. All right, let's get back on here.
Oh no, you didn't test it through that? This may be a disaster.
Goes back, screws right into here. I still can't believe how large it is. 8 feet might have been a little much on the barrel. That's all right. We're gonna test it out. Now, before we launch it, I do this thing angled down the field by about 4 degrees. The wind's coming this way today, so hopefully that means it will go that way, because we don't want to go this way. That's where the tractor is. Don't hit the tractor. That'd be very, very bad.
It's auto. It automatically picks it up. So it's only on like videos that have like millions of views or whatever. But if they're very popular videos and YouTube decides that you arbitrarily says, oh, they've played 5 minutes of this video, they send you a warning and you get an email and your stream goes down and people see that stream unavailable bullshit for like and it says as soon as you stop playing the copyrighted material to come back on, but it takes like fucking 2 or 3 minutes for it to update or some shit. Because I stopped playing the video immediately as soon as I got the email and someone said it in chat, but you saw how long it took it to come back.
So we're gonna go that direction, and then hopefully that's enough of an angle to take care of the wind trying to blow it back this direction. So let's give it a shot. Using the TT,
it's like an automatic shit.
I was able to read the analog pressure transducer and then send those measurements as telemetry data over the ELRS protocol back to my radio.
Oh, that's sweet. ELRS?
Transmitter. This is the first time I've used this feature of ELRS, and it was really handy for knowing what pressure the tank is.
I did not know. All my drones are ELRS. I did not know it had some type of feature where you could read pressure.
All right, we're at 81 PSI. Launching in 3, 2, 1. Holy. They go way up there. They're coming down.
God damn, it was whistling, wasn't it?
How it made? That was aggressive. That was also so loud. I was scared.
God, that reminds me of mortar fire. I almost dove under the desk, bro.
All right, we definitely need to angle a little bit more, but
I got the controller. Check this bitch out. I have a much more expensive controller. God damn, this got cobwebs and dust and shit on it. I want to show you it looking all nasty. Let me clean it up a little. Hold on, time out. I've got a much more expensive controller, a TX16S. But this is my shit. It's the perfect size. It's not too big. It's not too bulky. It does everything I need it to. Get the dust off of it because I haven't flown this spring yet. This is the Radio Master Boxer. This bitch will set up to like fucking 100 models. You can trim everything in. You can fix everything. This motherfucker's got voice recognition. Hold on, listen. I don't know if you guys heard that. Welcome to Edge TX. Switch warning. It'll give you voltage readouts. The little bitch, the little lady that's in there. She'll tell you like battery low or land now or return home. If you set up all the warning parameters, she's like the warning device. This thing is bad as fuck. Radio Master Boxer. I fucking love it, dude. That's what I fly all my drones with. Maybe I'll launch dildos with it next.
That was pretty awesome. Right, well, it looks like everything survived. Nothing exploded except for the Sabo. The Sabo, which used to look like this.
Yes, it hit your muzzle brake, I'm pretty sure.
Now is in about 100 pieces and got absolutely shredded. We'll look at the slow-mo to see what happens there. But
I'm calling it. It opened up in the muzzle brake. The muzzle brake's too wide at the end. It needs to be the exact same diameter as the barrel, or it's going to try peeling apart as soon as it gets out of the barrel, and it's going to, yeah.
The big question is, did the rocket survive? Because I wanted to put a camera in the rocket, but if it's just going to get destroyed, then I need to build a stronger rocket or put a parachute in there. So it's over there in that wood somewhere, so let's go find it. I see it right over there. I can see some little orange plastic bits sticking up. Oh, yeah. Wow.
How'd it fare?
Even just the PLA nose cone survived.
Oh yeah. Let's put a camera in it, bitch.
But the actual rocket kind of survived. I think a camera probably would have been fine in there. So now all we gotta do is increase the pressure and put more stuff inside here. All right, to keep it from going into the woods again, we're gonna angle it maybe a degree that direction. So get it up.
So the point is to aim a drone at something to reduce fuel. I'm lost.
2, perfect. And then I'm gonna angle it another 2 degrees downrange because that one came a little too close. Now, unfortunately, to reload it, I need to pull the barrel off. Then think about how hard it'll be to get up inside there. So let's unscrew this. I'm really impressed that this resin piece survived. It's literally just a printed coupler.
Needs to make it a pull, like a flagpole, like pull the pin, lower the pole, load it, and stand it back up. That'd be sweet.
I couldn't find the part I needed in the store. All right, so for the next launch, I'm not gonna put the camera in yet, but I do have this altimeter, which is just based on barometric pressure. So
God, I wanna build a Ditto launcher so much now.
Give us an idea of how high these go. And for this one, I'm gonna use the TPU nose cone. So we'll see if it survives. All right, let's load it up.
Altimeter, we'll see how high it goes.
Going vertical. Here we go. Currently at 30 PSI. All right, seems like it's kind of plateauing around 83 PSI right now, so we're gonna go ahead and fire it off. Turn the compressor off. All right, 3, 2, 1. Holy cow.
As soon as I heard this one, I knew something went wrong. Now looking back at the slow-mo is a little difficult because the Sabo breaks into like 10 different pieces, which makes it difficult to know what's going on. But one of the angles, if you play it back frame by frame, you can see that when the rocket came out of the barrel, the nose cone had already separated from the rocket body. For all the break inside the barrel, there must have been a lot going on. And all of that, plus the less aerodynamic shape, made the rocket unstable, so it did not go very high.
Well,
that's pretty crazy.
I don't know what happened there.
Did you find your altimeter?
Really loud though. Also, I saw the nose cone fly off, so that is not good. All right, let's go check it out. So here's the base. This is broken off, so that's a little bit of a clue. And then the altimeter.
Yeah, he's not doing a drone. That's true. But the controller is for a drone. ELRS is a protocol for drones and cars and helicopters. It's mostly used in drones.
Stuck in the ground. So miraculously it survived. It says 256 feet.
Since there were clearly some problems with that launch, I wanted to try to...
It's Express LRS. It's like an open source radio control link for RC, aircraft, drones, boats, all kinds of shit.
Same setup, but just a different rocket and a different nose cone.
All right, I'm just going to electrical tape this in place because anything with
I wonder what the fuck happened.
This is the PETG nose cone. If PLA worked, I'm hoping all these should work. Well, I guess the TPU one clearly didn't work. I think my attachment scheme is also a little bit weaker than it probably should be.
Oh, okay. He's got it slid way down on the barrel, so the muzzle brake is not breaking them. It doesn't look like it.
Climbing, get up to like 80.
I just now saw that.
All right, here we go. We're at 80 PSI. 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah. That went way up there. Holy cow. There it is.
He's dialing it in.
Wow.
It didn't look like it landed in the woods that time.
It looks like it made it in one piece, so let's go check it out. If you really zoom in, you can see the tail of it. We actually hit like dead center of the field, which is pretty impressive. We got the angle.
Sweet.
144 yards to that. All right, well, let's go see if it's in one piece. All right, here we are. Thing is buried. Oh, look at that. There was so much force when it hit the ground that the part that holds the electronics inside like came through the nose cone. That's crazy.
Oh shit.
Guess how high it went?
700 feet.
814 feet.
Damn.
That's pretty crazy. All right, well, I'd say put a camera in it. See what happens. Camera's in there.
This is what I've been waiting on. I want to see the footage from inside.
What could possibly go wrong? Now this one, to hopefully protect this camera, is the carbon fiber nylon nose cone. So hopefully this one should be the strongest and protect the camera the most.
It might be brittle too, carbon fiber nylon.
So we'll hit record, and off she goes. Bye. Good luck. Alrighty, a couple more PSI. All right, here we go. See if we lose the camera here. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's a beautiful shot. There it is. Might hit the woods.
I haven't seen the footage yet. Did the camera break? Looks like it came out in 2 pieces right there. That didn't look great. Maybe that's just a Sabo jacket.
Sticking up. At least that all made it in one piece, so hopefully the camera's in one piece as well. Oh yeah, I think it's fine. The piece I was holding the camera definitely broke. Oh, look at that, still flashing red.
This camera survived quite an impact, and I was pleasantly surprised with how good the footage was.
Here we go. I'm going to slow it back down. We're probably going to be spinning a lot, I would imagine. No? Yeah, a little bit. Hell yeah. And that howl. Hell yeah.
These initial results from the cannon, but there's a couple issues I want to fix in my next video on this. First off, when the projectile gets launched out of the barrel, you can see it's sort of unstable and wags back and forth. The projectile's moving really fast at this point, so it creates a ton of drag and limits the overall height that it reaches. So I gotta fix that. And part of that will also be fixing the sabots so they don't blow apart into a million pieces every time. They should just peel off in flight, and honestly I should be able to reuse them. Last, I think it'd be really cool to add a rocket motor into this.
That's pretty sweet.
Parachute recovery system.
That was worth the click.
Video on this.
I'm gonna like this.
This thing works.
I'm already subscribed.
We got some really, really cool onboard footage.
Like that a lot.
Watching. Let me know if you have any ideas on what else I should
Worth it.
I'll see you in the next one.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to click on another one of his videos. Let's go to. I gotta know what Ryan Upchurch is doing. It's such a beautiful crash. I gotta see it. We might have to skip some copywritten music stuff. We'll see. I gotta know what's going on in this man's head.
Oh, Yankee Doodle. That man ain't got it. Oh, Yankee Doodle. That man ain't got nothing to do. It's bad when a man has nothing to do. Middle of the day on Tuesday, it's not a good look. It's nothing to do. And the shit that he's saying, everybody, it's just like, brother, he's just a flat out liar. Now you're a guy who's a liar who has nothing to do.
I don't know who that is. Yankee. I don't know who he's calling Yankee Doodle. Ryan Upchurch, what's happening to you? This is Adam Calhoun. What's happening to you is much deserved. You've started fights you can't finish. You've talked bad about every person that's crossed your path. You have no friends, no honor, and the most precious little person you're supposed to protect has been taken away because you're a piece of shit. Bye-bye, little boy. Ooh. Ooh, dude. I'm as addicted to this as Ryan is to fucking meth. 100%.
Hey, Doodle.
Oh, it must be Adam Calhoun.
Fights. You're doing fights. You get what you deserve. I think you're right. I do get what I deserve. I just kicked everybody out of these houses, got them all back, cleaned them up. Got a random $70,000 check in the mail this morning from BMI, first one I ever got. Mail. Got my lawnmower back today. Hell, my daughter, since you talked about her, she fucking works more than you. She cut more grass than you have today, and fucking than you have your whole fucking life. You fucking bum.
So you got your daughter on the lawnmower with you? Is that what you're saying? You had to make a video of it to prove that your daughter's working. Ah. Amazing. Yep, that proves him wrong. 100%. Maybe 1,000% wrong. The best defense against evil men are good men skilled at violence. Now think about it. These motherfuckers mention kids an uncomfortable amount between the entire group, in a very strange way amongst the web of people. Deerdorf, Adam Calhoun for starters. Deerdorf was seen in the text message strand I posted saying something along the lines of blah, blah, blah. You got to quit music. The government is going to get you. And you have a kid now, etc., etc. Odd. Okay. Deerdorf also recently talking about my kid. Then Adam Calhoun did also. Adam was also seen on a podcast. The only thing Deerdorf, which is his ex-best friend, the only thing Deerdorf said is like, look, man, when you got a kid, that's what it's all about. Who gives a fuck about finding people on the internet or doing this or drugs or this or that? It's all about the kid. And if that don't change you, nothing will. I've stood by that for a long time. Adam is also seen on a podcast saying something disgusting about babies. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Adam is on a podcast also with another person, Triple T, who had videos emerge of him talking weird, dirty to what looked like a room full of teenagers. Fucking weird. So now he's laying out that they're all pedophiles, of course, because he doesn't have custody of his kid. They have all taken up for Chase Matthews for some reason, who was in fact caught at tailgates and tall boys with teenager girls on his tour bus. Fucking weird. All pedophiles. Everybody but Ryan's a pedophile. He even said one time that if you do live streams or YouTube videos or make content, if you have purple anywhere on the screen, that's a sign that you like to fuck kids and it tells other pedophiles that you're a pedophile. Deardorff's girlfriend, Lauren, starts insinuating people are pedos. Specificity, Blake, out of nowhere. Very confusing. Specific, do you think he meant specifically? Now Deardorff is claiming I called him a pedo for some reason, which I never have, nor did I ever think he would be like that. Something is off. That's very strange, especially after what his wife said about people out of the blue. Dragon Force, that's right. Then you see a random ad of Billy and Skylar, people, friends, Billy and Skylar people, friends, with Lauren and Deardorff, who apparently have a travel agency named after their child. Dog, that's fucking weird. And when you lay it out like that, it's extremely creepy and fucking weird sounding. I can't believe there's still people that follow him and it's like, hell yeah, Upchurch is exposing everybody. I'm here for it. What the fuck? Sage and Sunshine Travel. Meet your travel agent. Lots of people name businesses and shit after their kids. So apparently their kid's named Sage. That's a cool name, Sage and Sunshine Travel Company. Do travel agents really make money? Do people still use travel agents? I guess if you want like a really hands-off experience and they just give you everything. You say, I want to go to such and such and see all the sites, and they plan everything for you, maybe? I've never used a travel agent ever. Yo, what are all these people? I also don't plan a whole lot. Like, I might buy tickets to something if it's something that I know I have to because it's been sold out. But I like to just go to a town. Like, we're going to Nashville. I don't have anything planned. I figure we go to downtown. We'll find a place to eat, places to walk around, places that, you know what I mean? I don't know. Yo, what? Oh, corporate travel maybe. Like, if you got to get 30 rooms for this, that, the other. Yeah, that makes sense. Yo, what are all these people covering for? We got to know it's something serious. Otherwise, what are they doing? Whatever it is, Deardorff is acting like he's been blackmailed. Billy became a bloated drunk. Adam retired to become the biggest Upchurch hater. Leroy overdosed. B-Loose ran away and disappeared when he couldn't get a power of attorney. You ran all these people away, by the way. Those are all your very close friends, your allies, people who have been with you since fucking kindergarten, your cousin, your manager, who you said you'd never give up, that had done everything for you. Even chose your manager over your mom. Broadnax disappeared. Demon Jones went silent. J.J. Lawhorn is now a character of everything he's ever hated. Sonny Finley, who hates me, watches everything I say on my story. Yeah, because you're bad-mouthing his company. He's probably putting together a lawsuit, to be honest with you. Johnny Cashville is pretty much begging me to call him. And now the entire distribution damn near is trying to make it where uploading all my music again will be difficult, which it isn't, thanks to my amazing attorney. I don't know why he went on this tech spree. Like, the platform's made for videos. Either I spoke on something the entire group is hiding and trying to keep hidden, or I'm the one of the most powerful speaker in America. I just had a mini stroke. I'm the one of the most powerful speaker in America. And have much good credit with people for any cancel tactic to work. I'm the one of the most powerful speaker in America. And have too much good credit with people for any cancel tactic to work. It's one or the other. One of the other. It's one of the other. I accidentally said it right the first time. The saying is one or the other. Maybe even both. They're trying their best to lie. It's getting hard for them, lol. 18 million views on his stories, reels, and posts. For February 8th through March 9th, for 1 month. Last 30 days. So many great people are watching, and they're going to make sure y'all's plan fails miserably. I think Sonny is trying to make you seem incompetent if something legal ever comes up. Watch out for that. He posted about how you were slandering him, going crazy, preaching racist rhetoric and other shit. That's all true. You did slander him. You were going crazy. You're crashing out. You were slandering him. And you did preach about a bunch of Nazi propaganda. All that. I wish I could send you the post, but of course they were just on his story. God is going to deal with all of them. I foresee Triple T having serious medical issues, Adam and Deerdorf being embarrassed and humiliated on the internet via something that is exposed and possibly going to jail, Leroy speaking up and be the chain reaction that sparks broadnecks to speak up, which causes a bigger chain reaction of people speaking out about this group. That's quite the prediction. I foresee Demon Jones announcing he's retiring from music. Command Shift. That's the first time he spelled it right. Command Shift changing its name due to certain deals they've done with other companies to eliminate the amount of independent artists. This guy's fucking crazy as shit, dude. Crazy ass shit. Holy fuck. Insane. I want to see what the Gotcha Man's doing. He covers Ryan.
EPO Joe out here setting records.
Isn't it wild? How much meth do you have to do to dig a tattoo off your skin, bro? This used to say HB for Holler Boy. And it was never damaged or fading or nothing. And he's dug it through. It's dug it off his skin.
Joe out here setting records. That has to be a record. There can't be that many people self-employed getting fired. That takes some damn skill. Yeah, EPO Joe, Jerry Busey, Jerry the Junkie. You guys know all the names. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about yours truly, Bubble Bath Boy, right? Oh, LaToya Foya Filer. That was probably a little bit of a stretch on that one. But listen, you're going to be fine, man. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, yeah, he got fired from his distribution guy, the company that was distributing his music and media.
Pursuant to the Command Shift distribution agreement you signed on November 29, 2019, a copy which is enclosed for your reference, Command Shift provides written notice of its intention to terminate the distribution agreement and cease providing services to you. Command Shift will discontinue providing services for any and all sound recordings and audiovisual content provided by you and your representatives on your behalf effective March 7, 2026. An outline section 10J of our distribution agreement dated November 29, 2019. Command Shift reserves the right to refuse to provide services to any client at Command Shift's sole discretion. As a result of this termination, you have 31 days from the date of this letter to secure alternative distribution services, complete a transfer of your entire music catalog to a new distributor, ensure all necessary metadata and assets are migrated. He better get somebody good, or they're going to lose a bunch of this data. Effective March 7th, 2026, we will initiate full takedown requests across all digital service providers, DSPs. Command Shift will cease providing all services under the distribution agreement with the exception of collecting royalties generated during the term of the agreement, accounting to you and paying you and the designated rights holders the appropriate royalties. Command Shift recommends you begin this transition immediately to avoid any interruption in your music's availability. That's why he put it was so hard to re-upload his shit. He's trying to do it on his own. To avoid any interruption in your music availability on streaming platforms and digital stores. So this is not just like YouTube and TikTok and shit. This is like fucking Spotify, Pandora, all that. All outstanding royalties earned will continue to be processed according to the company's standard royalty schedule. Sincerely, the team at Command Shift.
To the masses, therefore he can actually get paid off of it. It's like the one thing that he actually makes money at. They say don't bite the hand that feeds you, but this dude just gobbled the whole.
And that was his bread and butter. That was his money constantly rolling in, right? His music's already out. Even if he doesn't put any songs back out, people still stream his stuff.
God bless your buddy, too. That sucks, doesn't it? But hey, look, man, I'm an optimistic guy, and I think you're going to be just fine, Joe. I think you're going to pull out of this, especially with what you got going on at the ranch now.
You're a brave ass bitch, and you got this. You're a brave ass bitch, and you got this.
Now that's inspirational.
You're a brave ass bitch, and you got this. You're a brave ass bitch, and you got this.
You're a dude with bitch tits, and you got this. Took longer than I thought, though. Old Sonny was being a nice guy, being a lot nicer than I'd be. Gave this dude a 6-month stay of execution. But, man, you can only put up with it so long. Hey, it's a life lesson, kids. Don't matter how much money you got or how much money you make, and make for other people. You can't be the bratty little I mean, we've all seen Dr. Phil, right? This dude's legit the Jack Doherty of country rap.
Ryan tried to claim that his distribution company was, or tried to insinuate, I wouldn't know if it was, I don't say the claim, that they may have been stealing money from him because he didn't know where the money went, even though it went into his bank account every month, like he had set up.
Dork. Oh man, the shit's not going so well, is it? But just as a little reminder, this is the kind of thing that Sonny Bama and his team over at CMD Shift have unfortunately had to put up with leading up to this.
Sonny Finley, CDM Shift, y'all owe me a lot of money. And guess what? If you don't give it to me, I'm taking you bitch ass to federal court.
Yeah, well, that's an awful brave way to speak to the fella that owns the company that distributes your music to all your wonderful fans.
Does nobody know CMD stands for command? It's command shift. That's their name, command shift. But it's like the quirky way of saying it, like you're using an Apple product, command, CMD, the command button.
All those little powwows at the ranch really are working for you, huh?
You're a brave ass bitch, and you got this. You're a brave ass bitch.
And you got this. You're a fat little bitch, and you got this. You're probably wondering, like, hey, man, what would cause a guy to speak to his distribution company so foully and so publicly and bravely? And you got this. No, seriously, you're like, man, what in the heck did they do? I'll tell you what, Ryan doesn't play around. Ever since he got hormone and grew up, he started demanding really specific things. And this lash out is because he wanted 2 receipts for a payment that was already made 2 years ago to his manager, B-Loose.
All right, explain this, CDM Shift.
CDM, it's right in front of him, and he says CDM shifts. Explain this. $227,000 payment was sent to you today by ACH and covers the following. Payment minus transaction fee. Best regards.
Is this payment to? I know it says Dear Upchurch Enterprises.
Yeah, not only does it say Upchurch Enterprises, but in parentheses it says Ryan Upchurch. To a good detective, that's a couple solid clues. But I'm gonna let you take a stab at it, brother. Be brave. You got this.
But Upchurch Enterprises is not the name of the company that my money goes to involves my music.
Yeah, you might want to take it up with your manager, B-Loose. He'll be able to explain that that was the company at the time or whatever the discrepancy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Upchurch Enterprises Ryan Upchurch doing business as Upchurch Enterprises.
Who in the did you send this to? It's $250,000. Best regards.
It went to Ryan, by the way. It went to his bank account.
Shift team.
Yeah, imagine trying to do business with this guy. This is when CMD Shift and Sonny were still doing business with him, and they had to log on to Instagram and see this idiot saying stuff like, he's literally reading a receipt of a successful payment. The only reason the email was sent was to let the client know that the payment was successfully submitted. And only $1.15 at that. That's not bad for what he says $250,000. It's about $23,000 shy of that, but you're also a few crayons shy of your collaring kit. And cheese done slid off the toast. Somebody said that recently, and he used to be a follower of yours. Literally had Creeker in the name of his handle. Now he's saying that your cheese slid off. That's because it did. But yeah, this is the type of shit that Sonny had to put up with. He's watching this where it's like, hey, dude, this receipt was sent to you.
How long would you keep sending this guy millions of dollars every year while he's talking shit about you and insinuating that you stole money from him or sent it to the wrong person or, took a swipe off the top before he got his, or you're working with people trying to have him killed? I would have told him to get fucked the first video he made.
Church and Upchurch Enterprises.
And he tried to call Ryan and talk to him and be like, dude, you're being crazy. We didn't do anything wrong. We sent you your money. We collect your royalties. We keep your videos up. We copyright strike people that, steal your content. We're doing our job. We've gotten your social media accounts back 6 fucking times.
Sent to your manager.
You've been banned.
And now, 2 years later, you're like, where's his money? Who sent it? Well, let's be honest, it's because you're brave. But brave.
Because let me tell you something, motherfucker. Look at this. This was July 3rd, 2024? Okay. So you already admitted to me that B-Loose was messaging you through my email. I have that.
Well, if you actually do have that, I would hang on to it if I were you, because that 100% proves that B-Loose was your manager.
This is from July 3rd, 2024. So now watch when I go to my email to look for this CDM shift receipt that apparently got paid to me, right?
Look, before you smoke your brains and trying to look past the obvious and figure out, is there a bigger meaning behind this? And am I missing something? No, you're not missing anything. This dude, it's literally what it looks like. He's showing a receipt while simultaneously questioning whether or not he got the payment, for one, and then goes into arguing that he can't find the receipt.
Well, I wouldn't know, would I, Sonny? Because I can't even look.
Yeah. Talk about burn. Imagine being the company that's named in that email and how bad this looks for them when their client doesn't know the difference.
Yes, multiple people will try to help him or whatever. He just claims that they're in on it. Anytime anybody questions his sanity or if he's on drugs or if he's all right, he claims that they're part of the conspiracy. He's never done drugs. He's never been better. Everything's perfect in his life, and you're the problem. So you got to go.
Between reality and...
Like when he says, oh, it's so weird that Deerdorf was like, they're going to get you and you need to stop doing this. That was his friends trying to warn him, like, man, you're saying some crazy stuff on the internet. You're going to get canceled. You're going to get in trouble. Like, you can't claim all these crazy things, and it's mostly because you're all amped up on something. You need to get help. And he drove all those people away.
In fiction. This guy has no idea.
Now his mom's just so happy that she's back in his life. I bet you she's afraid to say anything. Like, he went after his mom, sent his fan base after his mom to where she had to leave the fucking internet because he convinced his followers that she was buying houses and giving them away to people with his money. None of it was true.
Yeah, this guy is so lost and burnt that he would physically make
his mom's back in his life now, but she does not do much internet. She's only on videos just smiling, like she doesn't even say anything. Like, I think she's terrified of his next fucking rage and him talking shit about her and all the fans coming after her again.
Possible to do business with him, which is why you got fired, Jerry.
Is it music royalty money?
It is sad, but it's also amazing to watch.
No, because I can't look up the receipt. Y'all motherfuckers got rid of it.
It's like one of those scary movies where you're like, the killer.
The receipt he's looking at.
Right behind you. It's right behind you. Except for it's like, hey, EPO Joe, the receipt's right in front of you. You used it as the centerpiece for this video. It literally says the transaction number, the amount to the penny, the $1.15 that was charged for the ACH transfer. And he's like, I wouldn't know because you guys got rid of it. What a dipshit. Yeah, not only is he good at making things disappear that are right in front of his face, but he also manages to make things appear that aren't there. You know, like those phantom people that were breaking into his house every day that he caught on camera but didn't catch on camera and was going to turn in but not turn in. You remember.
You might be slick, but you ain't slicker than me. Before you walk in my yard and come in my house, you better look at every tree.
He claimed they showed up with a fire stick and blocked all his cameras somehow.
Yeah, they walked over here. They didn't pull up in my driveway, they walked over here. I got some questions for some people around here, and I already know the answer to the questions. I wonder if they'll give me the time of day to let me ask them the question. You know what I'm saying? I bet you they won't.
Who's that remind you of, Unc? Huh? I just want to ask a question. I just want to talk. I just want to have a conversation. You got the nerve to call me crazy? Well, just can't have a conversation then. But yeah, what he's talking about is he had trail cams out there, and he caught the people walking in to break and enter his home while he was going. He caught them fair and square. And instead of calling the police on them and turning them in and getting them into prison in a Chevy Prism, he just makes an Instagram story and says, sure would love to ask some questions of you.
You know what praying hands is, Dobby? Only doing praying hands, I found Jesus. Now, the underlying meaning, well, what was Jesus? He was a carpenter, right? Okay, so he possibly framed up houses, right? Framed up houses? Well, somebody's been coming to my house, and I've been documenting it, and documented the first time it happened with the Kingston police.
You don't only need to...
So, because if you use the praying hands emote, that is, Ryan believes that if you post the praying hands emote on your stories and shit, and you're one of the people that he claims is trying to set him up, praying hands goes to Jesus. Jesus was a carpenter. Carpenters frame stuff. So the praying hands emote means that you're trying to frame Ryan Upchurch for a crime.
To be a carpenter or Jesus himself to be accused by this idiot of trying to frame him for something. He literally texted me this, saying that my wife was going to frame him for something.
Oh, shit.
He had framed glasses on. Trying to frame him for something. He literally texted me this.
Feds already dealt with the post office ordeal. Your group is way behind, too far behind to successfully frame anyone. Mr. Horn-Rimmed Shades and your girl, Miss Butterfly Shades, couple of framers not good at framework or butterfly effects. Dang, you are good. No, the feds are good. Get ready for prison. That's a great pic of Nashville in the back of my profile, right? It's not Nashville. Nice try. Right in front of Western World, bro. You've been indoors investigating too long. Because they have sunglasses frames. They're framing Ryan.
Saying that my wife was going to frame him for something because she had framed glasses on. Well, hey, guess what, EPO Joe? Every pair of glasses has a frame to hold the lens in. But who knows? Maybe my wife is trying to frame you.
I took a picture of the car when I left because I noticed it.
Oh, yeah? It didn't happen to look like this, did it, Jerry? Because your manager, Mom, or Blue's Clues should have told you that those guys bring stuff around called mail. It's like official stuff that your managers would take care of, like maybe an electric bill, water bill, or a letter from your distribution company saying get your shit together, stuff like that. Bro, trust me, if you had a picture of this vehicle and these people that broke into your house, you would have not only shared it with your local police, but it would have been plastered all over here and blamed on Deerdorf, B-Loos, Sonny Bama, Adam Calhoun, Jelly Roll. Come on, bro, come on.
And then when I left, I had a camera set up. They didn't know about it. And I had another person watching my house. And then when I got back, I walked in the door, opened it real slow, and guess what? I could smell diesel fuel.
Well, yeah, I'd say it probably took a big diesel F-450 to get all them brave bitches up there. Huh?
Brave ass bitch, and you got this.
Oh, shit. Fucking insane. Is this a Ryan Upchurch hate video, too?
Welcome to the channel, and today we're talking about Eddie's antics. Eddie. Or devolves. I'm not really sure.
Literally sitting in a room with people watching a movie, and then I turn and look at somebody, and I get up and I go to the refrigerator and I open it, and I get one single piece of cheese out, and I walk to the group.
They're calling him the cheese wizard.
In the room, and I hand it to the person, and they're like, and I was like, you were thinking about a piece of cheese, you wanted a piece of cheese. And they're like, how the f did you know that? I'm like, good guess. I was just guessing.
Good old Eddie. I just knew there was more sides to you than what the hell you was leading on, you damn cheese wizard. I knew it. I knew you were a cheese psych.
He's claiming that that claim is that he was watching a movie with a bunch of friends. They said, do you believe in like astral projection? And he says, I'll do you one better than that. Sometimes I'll be sitting in a room with my friends, all my friends. I'll look over at one of them, make eye contact, get up, walk to the refrigerator, pull out a single piece of cheese, unwrap it, come back and hand them the cheese. And they'll say, what? How did you know? He's like, I knew you wanted a piece of cheese, didn't you? I could tell. He's a cheese wizard. And then we have this. This is the last thing we end up on. You guys remember Jake Lang? Jake Lang, the crazy protester that took a goat to New York and simulated fucking it because he calls Muslim people goat fuckers. He tried to tear down the ice sculpture, but kind of got demolished by it. He got beat up in Minneapolis. He was at that board meeting. He's a Jan 6er. He was at a board meeting where the Muslims spoke. He got to speak and had to be escorted out. He took over that governor candidate's bus tour and made it all Nazis. Like he's a neo-Nazi piece of shit. Jan 6, pardon, blah, blah, blah. He got busted texting sexual relationship things with a 15-year-old. Of course he did. Why wouldn't he?
All right, we've got to talk about January 6er Jake.
Also,
we've made
Walter Masterson, the comedian. Let me show you something first before we talk about Jake Lang, because he was protesting against Jake Lang today. Walter Masterson was at the center of a terrorist attack, literally protesting Jake Lang and other far-right people who showed up at Mamdani's house in New York City, and a terrorist fucking leaps over him and throws a bomb over him towards the other protesters and Mamdani's house, and then says that they're members of ISIS. Just watch.
You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
That's me in the video getting a bomb thrown over.
This is a homemade like nail bomb that I guess did not explode.
My head. Let me just give you some context for what was happening. So this was at a rally hosted by white supremacist Jake Lang.
Same Jake Lang that we're going to be talking about texting a 15-year-old.
He's a domestic terrorist from January 6th, pardoned by Donald Trump. He was holding an anti-Muslim rally.
If we could get the right-wing domestic terrorists to all go fight to the death with the ISIS terrorists, and we just like watched
when this guy jumped over me and committed an act of terrorism. That sounds confusing. Let me start over. So Jake Lang was holding the rally. He's known for three things: being a domestic terrorist from January 6th, pardoned by Donald Trump, losing to the letter S, and as we found out today, grooming 15-year-old girls. Jake Lang was holding this rally.
There was an ICE sculpture that on the Minneapolis courthouse steps or whatever that said prosecute ICE. He destroyed some of the letters so it said pro-ICE. But he was defeated by the letter S. He almost fell and busted his ass.
Saying things like this.
America is a life-giving country.
If you're saying America...
So that's him with a goat, claiming they're goat fuckers while he acts like he's fucking the goat.
America is for white Christian men. You're a white supremacist. Now, I really want to be clear that I made a huge mistake in not taking cover.
He legit says that America is only for white Christian men. That's his stance. He's legit a fucking far-right Nazi piece of shit.
After this explosive device was thrown. If you're at a public event and someone throws what looks like an explosive device, you're not a wimp for taking cover. We were counter-protesting, making Jake Lang look like the idiot that he is, when these two idiots came along and committed an act of terrorism. They could not have done more to legitimize Jake Lang's white supremacist talking points. They literally threw the bomb.
He's literally there protesting against Muslims, and a couple of people from Muslim descent throw a bomb at him.
Over my head while I was talking about inclusion. The CIA should definitely be paying them at this point. I just want to reiterate that I was not practicing safety that day. I could have been killed, and that weighs very heavy on both me and my family. And all that being said, I'm not going to use this as an excuse to be a xenophobic bigot. Elon Musk and all of right-wing media are...
They both need to be in prison. The only loser bigger than the jihadists is the American protesting for him and share a cell. So they're trying to say that Walter Masterson, because he was talking about inclusion, everybody deserves to be here or whatever. They're trying to say that he was protesting for the terrorists.
Having a field day right now because I am choosing inclusion and not bigotry. I still stand by my original point, which is I'm a native New Yorker. I was born and raised in New York. New York City is for everyone, except for terrorists who throw bombs and goat fucking white supremacists like Jake Lang.
You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
That's me in the video, getting a bomb thrown over my head.
Fucking insane, right? Insane.
It's amazing how far
I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everyone into the city when he threw that over my head.
The left will go to avoid condemning people that literally threw explosive devices at Americans. You have Walter Masterson here, who was literally just crying a month ago about Trump coming after him to arrest him, which never happened, and there's still no proof of that ever happening. He's posting a video of him shouting on a loudspeaker here at a protest because that's what these people do. And the guy that threw the explosive device literally pushed him down and launched it over his head. And he clearly stood there in shock, so I guess he just didn't know what happened. He captions this with, I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everyone in the city, when he threw that over my head. And he continued the post and said, I still stand by it, and as a born and raised New Yorker, everyone's welcome, except Jake Lang. So Jake Lang, whether you like him or not, was there peacefully, and he literally had the explosive devices hurled at him. That person's not.
I don't think he's taken up for a terrorist
but
or a terrorist
the
attack.
explosive devices are welcome. Then he tried to do this dig on them in the dumbest way. He said,
I cannot stress this enough. It was right near our feet, and it did not look real. We just stood there laughing. Meanwhile, the incel femoids ran away, having been totally jester-mogged. Their cortisol levels have yet to recover. This is obviously a troll.
I cannot stress this enough. It was right near our feet and it did not look real. We just stood there laughing. Meanwhile, the incel femoids ran away, having been totally jester-mogged. Their cortisol levels have yet to recover. And they ran away because literal explosive devices were thrown at them. And the only reason they didn't go off is because they were not lit right. And you would have ran away too if you had any survival instincts. But clearly you don't if you just stood there. This isn't the gotcha you think it is. But let it be known that Walter Masterson says terrorists are more than welcome in New York City.
That's not what he said. At all. That's not what he said. Anyways, back to the Jake Lang thing.
Several videos about Jake Lang on this channel. I have made videos on my channel about Jake Lang. You may have heard some about Jake Lang recently in the news because he's, first of all, not only was he there on January 6th and pardoned by Donald Trump, but he's a vehement racist and anti-Semite, an awful individual, and somebody who has gathered protests in places like Minnesota, you know, basically calling for like the white race to fight back or something. Okay, this guy is awful. He's terrible. And there's a reason that pulled up right now. I have We Are Jeffrey Epstein. This photo that was taken just the other day of Jake Lang, somebody behind him. We Are Jeffrey Epstein. That's Jake Lang right there.
That's Walter Matt. Oh, that's that guy's. What's that guy's name that I cover? Somebody pointed that out. That guy's funny. I cover him. He goes to MAGA protests and talks about like, yeah, we love Jeffrey Epstein and shit. I can't remember his name right now, but he is funny. He trolls the left too. He trolls everybody.
Hardline MAGA people who talk the most about protecting the children, who push the most hate against the LGBTQ plus community. People like this. I
gotta grab a bottle of water. Be right back.
Underage individuals, and that's where we are again. We talked about R.J. May in South Carolina, who won Moms for Liberty Representative of the Year. His whole shtick was, I'm here to protect the kids. You know, the LGBTQ plus community is coming after the kids. He's going to prison for life because he was trading explicit photos under the screen name Joe Biden 69. Matt Gaetz, anybody? Matt Gaetz was going to head the DOJ. We know that he was sleeping with 17-year-old girl. Donald Trump is covering up the Epstein files. It goes on and on and on. So before I show you what's going on with Jake Lang, let's remind you of a few things. This went viral just
What's the interesting take?
We talked about it. He went to Minnesota and he actually got charged for knocking down this Prosecute ICE statue. Take a look at this video.
This is, goddamn, what type of weakling is defeated by an ice sculpture? Watch how not fucking manly he looks here. Alex Stein, 99. No. You just randomly guess?
First America only. We'll see you here February 7th, Saturday, 12 noon, outside the Minnesota State Capitol.
So again, Jake Lang being charged for that because of vandalism, and you know, you see Jake Lang here. Look how cute he is. He's playing dress up in his little camo costume that he got from Walmart.
He's wearing leggings, camo leggings,
or wherever he got it from. This was Jake Lang the other day. If you heard about some of the events in New York City recently, he hosted what was called a quote anti-Muslim protest in New York City.
I used to follow Alex Stein, but he's kind of a racist piece of shit, to be honest with you.
I mean, this is just an awful individual, and he pulled up in this U-Haul doing this.
Come on, he's a goat fucker! Come on, he likes to fuck goats!
He's literally fucking a goat while claiming other people do it.
See, they're a bunch of goat raping pedophiles! Get Kamani, get Somali out, get these Muslims out of our city! We will not allow these people to continue to rape and pillage our city! USA! 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 USA!
just so disgusting, so gross. And there he's suggesting that individuals who don't look like me are doing horrible things, are pillaging our cities, are pedophiles, which again, projecting, as you will see in a moment. Last video here, I'm going to bleep or out some of these words because it can't show them on YouTube.
Like, why fuck a goat? Like, I think people know when you say fucking a goat what it means. Maybe you even show up with a goat. Okay, that's a funny bit, you think, or whatever. Maybe your friends will laugh. But why is he fucking the goat?
But he's using the N-word with the hard R here in this video. If you need an idea of who Donald Trump pardons, by the way, take a listen.
Go back, AIPAC, go back. That's the AIPAC building right there. White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of lovers.
Right. This is the Republican Party. This is who Donald Trump pardons.
Horrible person.
Awful, horrible, terrible people, and small little men, just small little people. You know, Jake Lang running around in his little costumes like a small little guy. Well, let's figure out what's going on with Jake Lang, because today has been a whirlwind for this guy, going viral with text messages. Take it away.
He was actually talking to an adult decoy of one of these pedophile catching people or whatever. Here's the messages.
Lang 1776 has been in the news for doing tons of shit. Yesterday, he was driving around my city for some reason, humping a goat in the back of a van. I wish I was kidding. That's exactly what this weird fuck was doing. Jake's not interested in goats. As it turns out, he's interested in young underage women. A friend of mine, Arlen, aka the Zerg, does underage things. It turns out Jake Lang was stupid enough to give him his number and creepy enough to interact with him, thinking that he was a 15-year-old girl. They started working on this back in November when they followed.
He literally says stuff like, call me when you coming to my next protest in Texas. I can if you want me to. Yeah, what's your number? Can we talk on here instead or only through text? I have too many DMs text only, sweetie. He literally asked her at one point, what did your mom say? When do you turn, how old are you? And he's like, first he says, if you're under 18, I can't fuck with you, which is the right thing to say. Then he says, she says, oh, I'm 15. He's like, what state? When do you turn 16? Because a lot of states, the legal age of consent is 16. Still disgusting. He's a 31-year-old man.
Jake Lang reached out and said, you're coming to my next protest in Texas.
30 or 31.
He goes for the phone number. Now I want to make it apparent that these profiles are very clearly belonging to high school students.
Literally half his age. And they set these profiles up to where if you don't guess that they're in fucking high school or way too young for you, you should have. It's not like ambiguous, like you see some AI image of them at the club popping bottles or something thinking, oh, they have to be 21. No, they set these profiles up to where they look underage.
I obviously can't show you the profile because that would blow the entire operation, but they always have some sort of high school and some throwback to being in high school. But it gets worse. Jake insisted to move it to text message.
They even usually make posts about like, oh, great to be back at such and such class. Good to see my friends kind of deal.
Conversation. He said, I have too many DMs. Text only, sweetie. Decoy gives phone number in this message.
You missed my big march. I'm sorry. You didn't reply to me, shaking my head. I texted you, baby.
Jake gets chatty. How old are you, by the way? The decoy asks. He says, I turned 30, honey. Why?
Right there. It says, I'm laying down in the bed. I'm laying down now in bed. What did your mom say? Double smiley face.
So late, young lady. How old are you, baby? Unless you are under 18, I don't care. The decoy says, I'm 15 and sends a selfie. And he sends possibly the creepiest message a 30-year-old grown fucking man could send to a 15-year-old. He says, when do you turn 16? The decoy then says, in 6 months I turn 16.
6 months. I won't get you in trouble if that's what you're worried about. I can keep a secret. What state do you live in? I can't see you till you're 16.
I won't get you in trouble if that's what you're worried about. I can keep a secret. Jake hearts this message. And he takes
30 years old. Double the age.
Takes it a step further. What state do you live in? I can't see you till you're 16. Jake, you're 30. Is this crazy right-wing influencer thing going so poorly for you that you have to try fucking children?
I mean, if I hate so much that I'm not surprised by this.
I mean, what's so bad about putting out the 18 age limit? I mean, he's probably the power dynamic and him being like an influencer and having all these weird fucking incel Nazis following around. Still probably bad for him to even be dating an 18-year-old. But goddamn, if you can't draw the line at 18, fuck you.
It's so, if there's anybody left supporting Jake Lang, first of all, like, and it's so crazy for me to utter these words, to say if there's anyone left supporting Jake Lang, because there is people who support Jake Lang in the first place, which is just so mind-numbingly sad and horrible. But if this like right-wing Nazi side of the GOP is still supporting Jake Lang after this, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. And again, while I was recording this video, I started looking on Twitter. He has responded to this, and the response confirms that the text messages are real. And
text between Alex Rosen and myself this morning. Nice fake setup, groypers. But I wouldn't even allow this person to attend my protest until they were 16. Nothing else was discussed except going to a protest. Obvious phishing scam that my team caught on to.
Like bizarre non-denial I've ever seen in my entire life. So let's analyze this really quickly. Text between Alex Rosen and myself this morning. If you're not aware, Alex Rosen he makes a lot of videos basically setting up these decoys of underage individuals and then catching individuals trying to meet with those fake underage people. And so that's probably why Jake Lang is involved with Alex Rosen here, because Alex Rosen would be somebody, you know, kind of in the scene who would immediately want to understand what was going on. Nice setup, nice fake setup by Groypers, but I won't even allow this person to attend my protest until they were 16. Nothing else was discussed except going to a protest. Obvious phishing scam that my team caught right away and deterred. Groypers being the name for a lot of Nick Fuentes fans. So him claiming this is a scam. So let's look at these texts. Alex Rosen, were those messages real? I'm just asking. Nick Fuentes went on a 10-minute vicious rant about me on his show yesterday. So the Groyper army has been attacking me with dozens of phishing, hoax, and scams. My lawyers are gathering everything now and prepared to strike back hard. Bet. Well, were those texts being for real or effing around? Because this is not an answer to the original question. My team who does my DMs from out of the country suspected I was being phished. I confirmed it by asking their age and telling them the legal boundaries and never spoke to them again after that.
I confirmed it by asking my team thought I was being phished. I confirmed it. What?
That doesn't look like the text we saw. What do you mean by phished? They were talking about coming to my protest and then switched, trying to rope the conversation into something illegal, and we pulled the plug. Quote, I told them I needed women for my burqa and bikini march. This guy's such a loser. That was planned for February in Florida, and they started search, but this person was phishing us to set me up for something illegal, which I pulled the plug on. What made us refer to this girl as honey and baby? Quote, never once was there a pet name used after the fisher identified their age. No.
I only did it before they identified their age.
Talks we had other than them coming to the protest. That is the worst defense I've ever seen in my life. Agreed. Can you send me full chat on your end? I'd like to see what was said after her age. The chat was clear, but I know for a fact the last message that was sent was the one that said, quote, I can't see you. Like, that is the most ridiculous. This is the pro.
I think my team targeted it because of the bikini photo. I don't think he has a team. I think those are his DMs. And she could be 25 years old in that photo. Yeah, that definitely isn't a kid, lol.
File. I think my team targeted it because of the bikini photo. Yeah, that definitely isn't a kid, lol. Okay, well, I'll.
That could definitely be a teenager. 100% that could be a teenager.
I'm not sure that this was the profile picture. And also it was clear that this individual was in high school. Regardless, even if I were to take this at face value, like, this is not a defense at all. Nice setup, nice fake setup. How old are you, baby? This right here. I'm 15. When do you turn 16? And then I want to be clear, last one here, quote, what state do you live in? I can't see you till you're 16. There is not a single world where there is an explanation for that text. There is no context in which that text makes sense. None. Unbelievable. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments down below. I'm fucking just so gross, so disgusting. I appreciate you guys watching this video, which, by the way, I didn't say in the beginning. My name is Chris Mallory. I do a daily episode here on the Adam Lockwood channel, so make sure you check out my...
Fucking insane, dude. Who would have guessed it? Who would have thought it? We all would have. The first one starts off, you come into my protest in Texas. I can if you want me to. Yes, what's your number? Can you text on here? Laying down in bed. What did your mom say? He asked her, what did your mom say? How old are you, by the way? She says, I'll ask tomorrow. He says, I just turned 30, honey. Why you up so late, young lady? Why you up so late, young lady? What did your mom say? Why you up so late, young lady? Nice, and I don't know. I be a night owl. I might be too young for you, laugh out loud. How old are you, baby? Unless you're under 18, I don't care. I'm 15, lol. Picture. When do you turn 16? In 6 months. I won't get you in trouble if that's what you're worried about. I can keep a secret. So there, it's already settled. Then he says, what state are you in? I can't see you if you're till you're 16. Well, I thought as soon as there was no other messages once you figured out their age. Arizona, I just moved here, so, and then they sent another picture.
Of shit. Yesterday, he was driving around my city for Jake Lang, 1776, has been in the news for doing tons of shit. Yesterday, he was driving around my city for some reason, humping a goat in the back of a van. I wish I was kidding. That's exactly what this weird fuck was doing. Jake's not interested in goats. As it turns out, he's interested in young underage women. A friend of mine, Arlen, aka the Zerg, does underage things. It turns out Jake Lang was stupid enough to give him his number and creepy enough to interact.
Insane, dude. That's insane, right? Oh, well, I didn't do anything with her. I told her she had to be 16 to come to a rally. He literally asked her the state, yes, and the age, and said, I can't do anything with you till you're 16. When do you turn 16? Why does that fucking matter? If you're saying 18 is your cutoff, why would you ask anybody when they turn 16? What state do you live in? I can't see you till you're 16. Someone said, at Grok, is this grooming? What is it implying that he can't wait until he is 16? Yes, the chat logs show classic grooming, an adult probing a 15-year-old girl's age, asking when she turns 16, assuring secrecy. I won't get you in trouble, keep it secret, and planning a meetup. Can't see you till you're 16 plus. Location query. They can't wait implication is clear. Intent to pursue her sexually once she hits that age. Predatory regardless. Wow. Insane, dude. All right, guys. Support the show. That's how we pay the bills. I'm trying to afford a house. Somebody donated. That was Michaela Robertson to the Mention Fund. Support the show. Use one of these links. I'd greatly appreciate it. Use one of the built-in links. Make a donation. Come help us. Pay for the show. Make some money. Hopefully buy a house in 2027. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me bitch for a while. I'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. We had decent viewership, even though the show got cut off in the middle and everybody left YouTube. It was all right.
You don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off. It's about to get lit. Get the place.
That's my job. You're very welcome.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that
there are always people that follow right at the end of the stream, and I hope it's because you enjoyed the stream. Maybe it's because you're waiting until I'm not live to say like the N-word or something in chat. I don't know, but I hope it's because you enjoyed the stream.
To profit off of gossip, worshiping drums, cocking, begging.
I appreciate it.
Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go.
You and your sports ball references. What is that, NASCAR or something? Cricket? I don't know. I don't keep up with it.
You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom.
Field hockey. Oh, that makes sense. He looks like a field hockey player.
Strapped into my shoes and then I flew to the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on.
Who's Kobe?
My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God.
Wilt, like a flower? Wilted?
Yo, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing No damn research, they rework and copy on cocks that came first. 9th and 2nd string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit shit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense.
I like field hockey.
Hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is
Sounds like Cobe likes it too.
These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts, cause you're...
Good night, guys. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. We're growing again. We're making the streams, making money, paying its bills. Hopefully we get into a house and an office and studio and get it set up and be able to do some more stuff. I don't know, out and about and do other things. But not this week, but next week we'll be in Nashville on